Welcome to the Eastern Region Division 5 Championship as the Hampton Crabbers and Deep Creek Hornets just minutes away from kickoff from Bruin Field. Welcome to the Sports Beat 23 Game of the Week. I'm Mickey Irving along with Merlin Vaughn and Tim Cole over from the other side of the tunnel tonight to tell us about this Hampton Crabber team that comes here undefeated. What do we expect from Coach Mike Smith tonight?
Well, Mickey, the Hampton Crabbers are a team that has an explosive offense. They have a young freshman sensation quarterback named Ron Curry, who is quite a player. He is just a freshman, just 15 years old, and he's just starting to come into his own. But he has shown the poise. He's brought Hampton back 3 different times this year from overtime, 2 overtime victories against very good teams. So he has shown that he is not a freshman as far as his abilities are concerned. But the Crabbers will run the ball a lot. They'll mix it up a little bit with some passing. But in years past, the Crabbers have been very strong on defense. And if they have any weakness this year, I would say it might be in stopping the running game, and that's Deep Creek's forte.
We know Curry can run the ball, but if Curry doesn't run it, who do we expect to do the majority of the ball handling?
Carlos Ford, who has 25 touchdowns on the season for the Crabbers, will do a lot of the running, but he is not the only weapon. The Crabbers are very deep at the running backs. They have 7 running backs that have carried the ball this season. Christopher Ricks has really come on strong in the latter part of the season. He is averaging about 50 or 55 yards per game, but Carlos Ford will be the main man to run the ball.
For the Deep Creek Hornets tonight, after a big victory against Phoebus last week, Merlin, Arnie Powell leading the way, the sophomore quarterback. What else do we expect from the Hornets?
Well, of course, you know they have the big bruiser in Deion Dyer. He's going to get the ball a lot. But, you know, also they're going to really like the fact that Cedric Williams is back from an injury. He's going to be playing tonight along with D. Harrell, who's come forth in the playoffs and is doing a really good job. Now, when you talk about Arnie Powell, you're talking about a person who's showing poise as well as Curry is showing. He's going to be real good tonight. We talked to Coach Carter about how do you stop the Hampton offense.
No, you know, we're just going to do what we always do. Curry, you know, you're not going to stop Curry regardless of what you do. You just hope you can control him a little bit. So there's really nothing new we've planned. We just take our chances with him. We don't look very good in pregame, very lethargic. I'm not really sure what that means. It either means we're going to play really well or we're going to really stink up the field. I don't know right now.
Something that the Hornets are looking forward to tonight is having Torrey Wilson back. He was not able to play last week because he was disqualified. Now, a person who sets the tone on defense is Vernon Boone, a real physical defensive end. And last week, Deion Dyer also played linebacker. He and D'Amica Hasking will try to stop Ford from running up the middle.
Well, Deion Dyer did indeed play defense last week, but I think his offense may concern Coach Mike Smith of the Crabbers.
Yes, it does, Mickey. The Crabbers, as I mentioned, have had a good defense. That's been the name of the game for the Crabbers over the years, but I did talk to Mike Smith earlier on how to stop this potent Deep Creek team.
Well, I expect that they're going to be very strong with the running game, which they have been all year, and when they've been forced to throw the ball, they've thrown it well. Defensively, they haven't given up a lot of points, so they're a very good football team. I don't think they'd be here at 11-0 if they weren't, so I expect it's going to be a challenge for our kids.
Well, Mike Smith's defense is going to have their work cut out for them tonight. If they've had any weakness so far this season, and they're a very strong team at 11-0, it is the defense.
Deep Creek 11-0. Also, the championship game of the Eastern Region in Division 5. Division 6, Indian River plays Kempsville tonight. Be sure and stay tuned at the conclusion of this game for highlights of the Indian River-Kempsville game. But we're ready to buckle up here from Western Branch in just minutes from kickoff. Deep Creek and Hampton on Sports Beat 23. Welcome to Bruin Field in Western Branch as the undefeated Hampton Crabbers and undefeated Deep Creek Hornets ready to get it underway for the Eastern Region Championship. They started in the late days of August. There's 2 left. One will continue. One gets to pack it up for the winter and think about it until next August. Mickey Irving along with Tim Cole, Merlin Vaughn, and Smacky Stats in the stands here for your Sports Beat 23 game of the week. The Eastern Region Division 5 Championship. And Tim, this is a Hampton team coming in with Mike Smith, been here so many times before. That has to help in preparation as far as Mike Smith is concerned, but does it help the Hampton Crabbers players?
Well, actually, I don't know, Mickey, that it helps them because it puts an awful lot of pressure on them. This is a young Hampton team. They have, as you can see from the scores on your screen, they've allowed a lot of points this year, certainly in the last part of the season. They only had 1 shutout, and that is not typical of a Hampton team. They had to battle back in both the overtime games. Kickoff, they trailed in that game. They also trailed in the Phoebus game. In fact, that game was won on a 2-point conversion in overtime. A very gutsy play and call by Mike Smith and the Hampton Crabbers. But it's gonna help them a little bit. Sometimes the opponents are intimidated, but I don't think that'll be the case tonight with Deep Creek.
Booker T gave him a challenge last week. What was your view of that game?
Well, we did that game over at Darling Stadium, and I have to tell you, I was very impressed with Booker T. They came into the game 6-4. There was a lot of talk about they were a good team, bad team syndrome, that it depended on which team showed up. I think we saw the good team because they fought back. They never gave up, and I credit Booker T with more than anything else their ability not to roll over. They could have given up on numerous occasions, and they stuck with it.
This is a Deep Creek team which has only been to the Eastern Region Finals 1 other time, and they didn't get a win in that. They've made 5 playoff appearances, and a Deep Creek team that started playing well late last season when they defeated the Western Branch Bruins. They're riding on a 12-game win streak right now, and you see they have also played Booker T, and Booker T gave the Hornets quite a game to open the season. They had some easy wins, a big game against Churchill in which they won 35-0, and then another back-to-back shutout with Lake Taylor. The Indian River game was really a stepping stone for this Deep Creek team. Could they make the next step? They did, and they went on to beat Norcom and Western Branch as well. Last week against Phoebus, a pretty good defensive team for Coach Bill D and the Phoebus Phantoms, but Deep Creek able to cash in on some early mistakes for a couple of field goals, and then Dion Dyer got the things going for Deep Creek.
Well, you know, that stat also said something that is so indicative of how a team is going to play. You turn the ball over 4 times, you're not going to win a lot of games against a good team, and that's what Bill D's team did last week, and Deep Creek obviously took advantage of that.
See, we'll go down to the field now and see that the coin toss has taken place. Our referee, Chris Brown, and Deep Creek has deferred until the second half, and Hampton will receive to start the ball game. And we're in for a special treat as the play-by-play man from the Hampton Cable System is going to come over and do the first quarter of play-by-play and tell us all about this powerful Hampton team. Tim Cole.
Thank you, Mickey, and it is a pleasure to be working with the Channel 23 operation over here. You guys understand that you've done a number of games this year and done a great job, so it's a real pleasure to work with your professional staff. There you see the Crabbers on offense. The end is Bailey. The tackles, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble. I'm blind in this press box.
I'm a little closer. Why don't we say we got Melton, Staples,
Lively, Massenberg, and Smith will be the right tackle. Then you got Ron Curry at quarterback. Carlos Ford will be the tailback. The fullback is Darrell Smith. Noel Rainey and Ahmad Hawkins will be the main receivers when Ron Curry decides to toss the ball.
And this Curry guy is a special player, just a freshman, 6'3", but you're not going to be able to tell he's a freshman from watching him carry himself on the field.
Well, the scary part of this, Mickey, is that Ron Curry is more known for his basketball.
The Deep Creek Hornet defense, a very physical defense led by the first man on your list, number 42, Vernon Boone. He will just put punishing hits on everybody all night. Kenny Manning, a strong outside linebacker, along with D'Amica Haskett. And that defensive backfield led by D. Harold, Daryl Husky back there, Kevin Parker, a linebacker. Big George Miller had an injury in shop class a couple of weeks ago, but I think he's going to be 100%. Jason Waters has been shaken up lately, but he should be 100% tonight.
The deep men for the Crabbers, Ahmad Hawkins will be number 9 in the middle of the picture. There's number 21, Christopher Ricks. Joe Verdi will be the kickoff man for the Deep Creek Hornets. We're about set to get this game underway. Temperature at game time in the low 50s. Not much of a breeze blowing. That will not be a factor. And there's no threat of rain for the game. This is taken by Ahmad Hawkins at the goal line. Hawkins fumbled it, now up the middle, and gets out across the 10 to about the 12-yard line. So the Crabbers will start with relatively poor field position, a mishandling on the punt, or rather the kickoff from Joe Verdi.
And already you can see it's a great article in the Virginia Pilot about the Verdi twin brothers, Steve Verdi, down to make the special teams stop. And he's usually around the football on special teams, number 51, the wild man of the twosome, the crazy linebacker with a kicker mentality. Joe Verdi's not going to make a lot of tackles or be around the football.
From the 12-yard line, wide receivers left and right are Rainey and Hawkins. The pitch goes to Carlos Ford. He tries to turn the right end, up across the 15, out across the 20, to about the 21-yard line. So a fine effort by Carlos Ford. He is very close to the initial first down of the ball game.
That's the kind of swarming defense that the Crabbers are going to see most of the night. And you're going to see 4 or 5 defenders around the ball all night long, but a great gain on that play by Carlos Ford. Is this any relation to Walter Ford, who played at...
He's a cousin, as a matter of fact.
We were impressed when Walter Ford came over to Colonel Hall Stadium and played the Great Bridge Wildcats a couple of years ago, and Wildcat fans still remember Mr. Ford over there.
Gain of a little more than 9 on the play. It'll bring second and short for the Crabbers. Ron Curry over the center. Again, wide receivers left and right, I formation. The handoff goes to Ford, tries to turn the left end. He does. He's got the first down across the 25, out close to the 30-yard line. Ford likes to run predominantly to his right, but he will go to the left occasionally, and that time that was the play.
You know, Deep Creek has been shaken up lately. They're almost back to 100%, but let's go down to the field now to Merlin Vaughn.
It wasn't until the 8th game of the year that the Deep Creek Hornets had the injury bug that hit them. During the game against Great Bridge, they lost 4 players. Andre Thomas with a broken ankle, Marquise Hicks with a possible torn Lee cartilage, Cedric Williams with a sprain of the inside ankle, and Jason Waters with a hip flexor strain. Now tonight, 3 of those players, Hicks, Williams, and Waters, are back with the Deep Creek Hornets.
Back to the live action. Curry almost sacked for a huge loss. Does get back basically to the line of scrimmage. He had a man downfield. That's Noel Rain. Check that. Ahmad Hawkins, rather, number 9, was open downfield, but the pressure from the Deep Creek Hornets did not allow Ford, or Curry rather, enough time to set up.
That's what Curry can do for you, however. If he runs the ball, he's probably just as dangerous if he's going to throw the ball.
Had over 630 yards rushing this year, and he is not a part of an option attack. So those yardage predominantly come from improvising.
Former Indian River head coach John Dukes, the defensive coordinator for the Hornets, will work cut out for him tonight.
Ford, or check that, Curry rather, trying to throw to the wide receiver coming across on a slant, threw the ball too high, and it was almost picked off by the Hornets.
D. Harrell was going with the receiver. If he would have been a little late or a little lazy on that play, he would have been in better shape. Oh, what kind of passer would you rate Curry at this point in his career?
Interestingly, he has tailed off his passing. In the last 3 games of the season, he has thrown relatively few times, and he's not had a great deal of success. Now, whether this is affecting the young man's confidence is a question that only he could answer, but he has been a pretty strong passer. He can throw the short pass or the long pass.
He had 217 yards to open the season against Kickoff this year.
Curry has time, throwing long, and incomplete contact, but incidental contact. That was a good no call. As with a 4th and 13, they decided to air it out, and the ball goes incomplete.
That is a good no call. Both men in good position there. D. Harrell back on the coverage, and we can see that Mr. Curry can throw the football. And an interesting point, Coach Jerry Carter came and said in the Virginia Pilot today that the Hornets may air it out tonight, which would be somewhat of a surprise with the success that Deion Dyer has been having of late.
9:24 to go here in the first. Cedric Williams, the deep man, but they don't have to worry about that as a very poor kick. And I was concentrating on the return man. That is no, that's Steve Redford. Okay, so Steve is working under a severe handicap tonight. He broke his left hand in the game against Booker T, and apparently had trouble dropping the ball. You and I were watching in the pregame warm-ups as the coaches were working with him to see how that was going to work out. And it didn't work out well for Hampton on that play at all.
The first big play involved 2 injured players as Cedric Williams was back to receive the kick. But the big news is the kicker for Hampton with the broken hand, Steve Redford, really had a hard time on that one.
And a 10-yard punt, so horrendous kicking game start for the Crabbers. Now back on for the Deep Creek Hornets. The ball carried. D. Harrell carries on the left side for the first play from the line of scrimmage for Deep Creek. And he picks up yardage about 2 yards to the 33-yard line.
You see Arnie Powell's statistics on the season throwing the ball. Just like Curry, as of late, he hasn't been throwing the ball particularly well. But in the big ball games, in the games against Norcom and Indian River, he did throw for over 100 yards in both of those games, but it tailed off towards the end of the season.
Second down and about 8 for the Deep Creek Hornets. 8:35 remaining here in a scoreless first quarter. This is the quarterback option. And Powell is across the 30 to about the 28-yard line. He'll bring up a third down and about 4 for the Hornets.
Not something we see a lot of is Arnie Powell running the football. He does have 1 rushing touchdown on the season against the Great Bridge Wildcats. I believe it was a 23-yarder. But Arnie Powell does not run the ball a lot. He calls his own number on the option there. And the big news is they're just about in Joe Verdi field goal range now. And they could start off just as they did last week with a field goal from Verdi for an early 3-point lead.
Third down and a pair. Inside handoff, and that is defensed beautifully by the Crabbers. Coming over on defense, number 81 for Hampton, that is Donnie Green. And he did not allow the runner to get out of the backfield, so it'll bring up a 4th down and about 3 for the Hornets.
And that was a great defensive play from Donnie Green. Uses his size, and D. Harrell had nowhere to go, and Verdi's going to probably put it down at the 33-yard line. A 43 attempt, his longest on the year, a 40-yarder against Indian River.
And this is an element of this game that the Crabbers have not used or had success with this year, is the kicking game. The kick is blocked. The ball will be recovered by either team, is of no consequence because it'll belong to the Crabbers.
And on such a long kick, Verdi had to kick a low kick. And the Crabbers had no problem at all, as they had great penetration on the special teams unit of the Hornets. And now it looks like Ronald Curry's going to get another shot at it. And you want to keep Curry without the ball in his hands for as long as possible. And he's going to get his second chance of the night at the 30-yard line.
Interestingly, Mickey, they ended up with the ball exactly where the Hornets had gotten it, at the 30-yard line. So the 10-yard punt by the Crabbers does not come back to haunt them. On the delayed handoff, this is Christopher Ricks, and Ricks is across the 40, out to the 43-yard line.
A quick opening there, maybe one of the quickest openings this Deep Creek defense has seen all year, quickly out of the backfield on the little delay play. You have to respect Curry, so Ricks able to get through the hole. Ricks on the season, coming into this ball game, over 700 yards rushing.
Well, Ricks has really come on strong. The last couple of games, he had 111 yards against Phoebus, and then he had 242 yards against Gloucester. As the Crabbers stick to the ground, and they are out close to midfield as the stop is at the 49-yard line. And the ball carrier this time for the Crabbers was Darrell Smith, number 32. And again, you and I talked in the pregame, the Crabbers have a lot of running backs. They're very deep at running back, and they are not afraid. Mike Smith will not hesitate to go to different running backs.
Darrell Smith did have 74 yards against Booker T and a touchdown. I believe it was a 74-yard touchdown run.
It sure was.
Last week.
In fact, that was the difference in the game ultimately. Gain of about 6. Second down, and let's call it 4. Curry on the play action. Over the middle. Got the pass completed at the 35-yard line. Ahmad Hawkins on the receiving end of the pass. Or check that. That's number 8. I have trouble with that. 8 and 9. That's Noel Rainey. Rainey with the grab at the 35. So the Crabbers are rolling now after the blocked field goal attempt. have moved all the way to the Deep Creek 34-yard line. 1st and 10, 5:40 to go here in a scoreless first quarter. Curry on the delay. This time it's Carlos Ford dragging would-be tacklers down to the 30, almost to the 29.
This is something this Deep Creek defense does not see a lot of. The Crabbers are really getting off the ball quick right now. The offensive line doing a great job, and you can just sense that the Crabbers feel like they have everything going their way right now, playing with a lot of confidence.
Ricks comes in replacing Ford. A lot of times Mike Smith he calls all the offensive plays. He will send the plays in with the tailback. 2nd down and about 5. The pitch to Ricks. Ricks, left side, tripped up on a nice defensive player. That play may have gone for a lot more yardage. Wes Cochran in on the stop for Deep Creek, and that was a big play on the defense.
The unheralded Wes Cochran, really not the most sought-after guy when you think defense for Deep Creek. Of course, you think of Vernon Boone. Coach Carter on the sideline starting to show some concern, talking with Brad Watson, the punter. And Hampton now looking to get inside the red zone.
3rd down and 3 at about the 33. We've got movement on the defensive side of the line, but let's see if it is in fact an encroachment call or did Hampton move prematurely. The officials will talk this one over. We got our referee tonight, Chris Brown, and he indicates it's encroachment against Deep Creek. So, and again, this is something, Mickey, you guys may not be familiar with Hampton over the years, but they have used this irregular hard
dead ball
to get the other side to jump off.
5 yards,
this
that's a
is
first
not
down.
unusual at all during the early part of a game when your team is kind of keyed up and you're really into the game to go with a hard count. And they've done this numerous times.
And it gets the first down there. That's the important thing. Deep Creek was eager to make a big stop, and that's a good call from Mike Smith.
Looked like it might have been a busted play. Curry in the backfield will just get back close to the 25-yard line. So that appeared to be a busted play. It's not the first time, if it were in fact a design play, it would not be the first time that they've gone with a quarterback draw. So you almost have to wonder sometimes.
Curry came out to the right, faked the pitch. As you see, Coach Mike Smith's going to call in the play now. And, you know, it's hard to tell with Curry because you can't tell if he's carrying his out his fakes that well or if it's a design play. Those great athletes will fool you, and that may have been a design play. Anyway, whenever he gets his hands on the ball, good things can happen for the Crabbers.
That was a 3-yard loss for Hampton, though. It's 2nd down and 13. Curry straight back to pass. Throwing in the corner of the end zone. He's got a man. It's knocked away on a great defensive effort again for Deep Creek. And I believe that was I can't pick up his number, 34, I believe it was.
Jason
24,
Waters.
Jason Waters. That was a great play. That broke up a sure 6.
Watch this replay. Watch number 24, Jason Waters, make the adjustment to the ball. He goes to the ball and just able to get a hand on it. Good play from the defensive back, Jason Waters.
3rd down and about 13 now for the Crabbers. 3:29 left to go in the first. No score. On the option, pitching. Trying to turn the right corner, Christopher Ricks. Inside the 15 to about the 12. And that will be enough for a first down. So Christopher Ricks with that quick run to the right side this time, and he caught the defense and was able to pick up a first down inside the 12-yard line.
Whenever you have the defensive backs making the tackles, that's not a good sign for the defense. And Torrey Wilson came up and made a big hit there inside almost the 10-yard line now are the Crabbers. And this is a drive that started at their own 30.
This is Ricks again, and Ricks is into the open. Touchdown!
The only man in his way was one of the interior linemen looking for somebody to block. The Crabbers looked mighty impressive on that drive.
2:59 left in the first quarter. Chris Ricks goes from 12 yards out and makes it 6-0 as Lindsey Sharp will be on to try the extra point. Kenny Crawford holding. The kick is long enough. And the kick is good. So the Crabbers, after a blocked field goal attempt, marched 70 yards primarily on the ground and and make it a 7-0 score with 2:59 remaining here in the first quarter.
You know, the Deep Creek Hornets, according to the Virginian Pilot, come into this game as the favorite. The Crabbers may like the underdog role coming in here tonight.
You know, and we were talking about, you asked me earlier about Hampton and their tradition and all this thing. Sometimes being the favorite puts a lot of pressure on a young team, and this is what Hampton is. They're not a veteran team by any means.
Now what the Hornets would like to have is number 4, D. Harrell, to get his hands on the ball back around the 10-yard line and get a good return here and have something good happen on special teams after that nice drive, as Tim just mentioned, starting at their own 30-yard line. The Crabbers mix up the pass and the run. Curry looks very good throwing the football, and that helps that running game a great deal.
And I have to tell you, I'm a bit surprised at the success Hampton had with that Deep Creek defense running the ball as well as they did on that drive.
And this Smacky Stat playoff scoring drive, 4 minutes and 7 seconds, covered 9 plays and 70 yards. The keys, the Rainey 17-yard reception. Ricks had 42 yards, including a 12-yard belly-busting TD.
From the 20, a 15-yard return for Deep Creek.
Tim, you'll be impressed by all these theme touchdown runs we'll have tonight from Smacky Stats. That one, a belly buster. Deep Creek now needs to get number 44 into the game plan a little bit, maybe. Let Big Dion Dyer try to answer the score.
That was a fine return by D. Harrell of the kickoff. He got it from the 20 all the way out to the 35. 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. 7-0 in favor of Hampton. Man in motion to the near side. Inside handoff to Dyer. That's the man you were just talking about, and he barrels his way across the 40 to about the 41, a gain of 6.
Big Dion Dyer, 6 foot, 235, just a junior. Really the heart and soul of this Deep Creek team. 934 yards rushing on the year. Make that 1,088 yards after you count the playoffs. Averaging 8 yards every time he touches the ball. Big number 44, Dion Dyer. Well, that was last week, 8 yards.
Well, he's still right up there.
Right,
he's got 7.1, but you'll be glad to take that anytime if you're the coach. 2nd down and 4 after the 6-yard gain. This is Harrell. Harrell gets the first down across the 45 to about the 46.
And that's the key to the Deep Creek offense. Let Dyer run, then let Dyer come to the near side on that play and make the block for number 4, D. Harrell, that gets him the first down. D. Harrell has to love it when he looks up and sees 2 big number 4s in front of him with Dion Dyer leading the way. Arnie Powell, just about every play for the people over in the peninsula, run to the near sideline and get the play from Coach Jerry Carter instead of moving players in and out.
Well, and that was what Hampton was doing that last time. Curry was walking over to the sidelines when possible. First down at the 46. Harrell again, the man in motion. He is faked to. Powell has plenty of time over the middle, incomplete. Powell had more than enough time to pick out a receiver. I believe that was number 83, Nate Watson. And he just couldn't catch that ball. It was a little too low for him.
I think it was a good decision by Arnie Powell because he wanted to go deep to Kendall Watson. And it was great coverage from the Crabbers defense back there. I believe it was number 5, Najah Bailey, back on man-to-man coverage on really the big threat, number 23, Kendall Watson. So Powell looked off and decided to go underneath, ball just slightly underthrown.
2nd and 10. Double reverse, or inside reverse, I should say. And this one is across midfield to about the Hampton 47-yard line. Pick up on that play of about 6. That was Lawrence Claiborne, and the young 5'8" senior. 1 touchdown on the season, 333 yards rushing on 45 attempts, and he's got a fine per carry average of 7.4.
Joshua Lively of the Crabbers stayed home on that play. And this wing T will really make you want to chase the ball, but he did a good job there staying home, was able to make the tackle on Lawrence Claiborne.
Ball marked just short of the Hampton 47. It's 3rd down and about 3. Again, passing. Got a man wide open at the first down marker, and he gets away from one. Another. He may go. Last man to catch him is Ahmad Hawkins. He drags him down at the 5-yard line. Kendall Watson, what a great effort after he caught the ball.
That's the man we said was the real deep threat for the Hornets. He's been quiet the last couple of games, but Kendall Watson, the go-to guy when Arnie Powell looks to put it up top.
What I'm impressed with the way he handled that, Mickey, was the fact that he could have easily been stopped. You'll watch the replay here.
Kendall Watson makes the catch around 4 Crabbers, almost tripped up. Now he makes the good move to cut it back and get the blockers. He gets another block just off your picture, and hustling downfield to make the stop for the Crabbers is Hawkins.
This is the big man Dyer from the 5 down to about the 2.
They'll go with their big set here, Coach Jerry Carter. They'll go with Kenny Manning, the defensive player, along with big number 42, Vernon Boone in the backfield. But don't expect either one of those guys to get the ball. They're going to give it to sure-handed big number 44, Deion Dyer, and let him use those 2 big blockers.
There is no time left on the stadium scoreboard, and apparently the officials will now realize that fact, and they'll march basically 98 yards the other direction as Deep Creek will have the ball when we start the second quarter. 2nd down and goal at the 1-yard line.
What's your opinion of the first quarter?
Well, I think that it's indicative of what we're going to see. I think it may come down to the last team to have the ball is going to win the game because there's obviously explosive offensive power here on both sides of the ball. But I could be wrong about that, but I think we're going to see a lot of scoring.
Makes for a good television game if you like offense.
Hate those 3-0 games, but you like those 49-48 jobs.
And this is the first time in over 20 years that 2 undefeated teams have met in the Eastern Region Finals. And this could be a great ball game as Hampton takes the 7-point lead before we start the second quarter. And right now, let's go down the field to Merlin Vaughn.
After the second defensive series, Coach John Dukes, the defensive coordinator for the Deep Creek Hornets, is deciding that he's going to want to stunt more against the Hampton Crabber line. Also, he's going to make 2 moves. Number 55, Kevin Parker, is going to be moving up in the line, and number 22, George Miller, is going to be backing up a little more. He felt that the linebacker was too close. Back upstairs.
John Dukes, for many years, the head coach over at Indian River High School, always a great defensive coach, making some small adjustments as we'll get ready for our first quarter smacky stats. First downs, Deep Creek 2, Hampton 6. Of course, the score is 7-0. 49-yard rushing for the Crabbers to 28 for the Hornets, and we'll get that in right after this play. It's 2nd down and goal from the 3-yard line. Out of the power set, the Hornets will send Vernon Boone in motion and give it to Dyer. He's going to go in for the touchdown. Deion Dyer make it 7-6 Hornets.
So the first play of the second quarter. Touchdown.
I meant to tell you, whenever I do play-by-play, there's a touchdown. Every time that I take over, it's a touchdown. So the Hornets now are going to look to tie it up. We'll finish those first quarter smacky stats. Passing yardage, surprisingly, Deep Creek on top 43-17, 71 total yards to 66 for the Hornets. Verdi now for the extra point. Husky the holder. It will be tied up with 11:57 to go in the first half.
All right, so I get to now officially pass the baton, is that right?
That's right.
All right, this is Tim Cole from Channel 5 passing the baton to the very capable Mickey Irving for the second quarter.
And I'll start off with the smacky stats guys with the high-calorie output. Ricks had 4 rushes for 42 yards in the first quarter, and Watson had a 43-yard reception for the Hornets. And it's just, for some reason, whenever I take over play-by-play, I get a touchdown, but then that'll be it for the rest of the quarter, guaranteed. The Hornets are going to kick it away. Joe Verdi is going to try to pin the Crabbers deep. And this Crabber attack makes me think of the Western Branch Bruins, and something that the Hornets were able to do on the kickoffs. They were able to kick the ball in the end zone and not allow the Bruins to return the ball. So hopefully that's what Coach Jerry Carter wants to do here on this kickoff.
That scoring drive, Mickey, 3 minutes and 2 seconds, 7 plays, 65 yards. Watson with the 43-yard reception. Dyer finishing it off with a 1-yard plunge. Tighten your belts, folks.
Verdi to kick it away. Hawkins looks to get under it at the 10-yard line with a host of Crabbers in front. Towards the middle of the field, and good field position for the Crabbers as they'll take it at the 31-yard line. What kind of player is Hawkins? I know he's a good receiver. Is he the guy that you want to get the ball in your hands as much as possible?
Yeah, he's the kind of guy. He's just a sophomore too, Mickey. He's the kind of guy that you want to have handle the ball. He reminds me a lot of Watson in the fact that you want to get the ball to him on offense because he can do a lot with it after he catches the ball.
Well, this time Hawkins will be split to the near side of the field as the Crabbers will go out of that I formation, and on the far side of the field will be Rainey. It's going to be a running play to Chris Ricks, and the Hornet defense up to that challenge. That'll be a loss of close to 3. George Miller around the football for the Hornets.
The Crabbers, Mickey, have had more success this year running on either the right end or the left end. The middle of the line is not someplace where they've been highly successful. That's take nothing away from that offensive line, too. They've done a great job for the Crabbers all year long, but it just seems like the teams on defense are able to stop that run up the middle. 2nd down and 10. Mike Smith like to throw on 2nd down? Mike Smith has absolutely no pattern. You are not going to be able to determine what he's going to do. Twin receivers to the near side, a receiver split to the far side as well, and they will go with a delay. This is Ricks. Get back to the original line of scrimmage plus 6 more. It's going to be a 3rd down and 4 now for the Crabbers, and the delay working very well for Coach Smith so far tonight. Well, you know, the defense is keying on Curry. Everybody's talking about what a great quarterback he is, so the obvious advantage you have is if you take the ball out of his hands, you can use the element of surprise for the defense. Rainey to the near side, Hawkins to the far. Curry checks the Deep Creek defense and says we'll take a timeout with 10:17 to go in the half and a 7-7 tie. Curry, we were talking about him, if I may. Curry has shown, as we talked about in the pregame show, shown that he is not a freshman in the sense of a freshman. He has really shown a lot of poise this year. He has shown good leadership on the field, and he does not get rattled. He looks at the defense. You know, one of the difficult things for a young freshman to do is read defenses. I mean, let's face it, that's the most difficult thing any quarterback has to learn. And he has done a good job of that this year. He's done a good job of realizing sometimes when the play he's gotten called from the sideline doesn't match up well against the defense, he's not afraid to burn a timeout. We've been covering the Peninsula football for quite a while now. Is it somewhat of a surprise that a freshman will be quarterbacking at Hampton? I mean, the tradition of the Hampton Crabbers, does it happen that much that they'll have a freshman quarterback? No, I think Curry is the first freshman quarterback in a number of decades. Generally, Mike Smith likes to go with experience at quarterback. Usually the starter is a junior or a senior, and then he molds the sophomores and freshmen along as they go along. Quick pass to Rainey, complete across midfield, good for the 1st down. Fumble on the play, and it looks like D. Harrell comes up with a football for the Hornets. Harrell still on his feet. The Hornets will take over 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. I originally thought that Rainey may have been down on that play, but it doesn't look like the officials are going to rule that he was. No, apparently there was not a whistle. There was no indication from the officials that the play was dead. So unless they talk about it and decide otherwise, I think we're going to see a change of possession here. And the offense will trot on for the Hornets. And this is a Deep Creek defense that gets so many takeaways on the year. That makes 29 takeaways now, 16 fumble recoveries on the season for the Hornets. Claiborne on the wing. Harrell, he'll have the big man Dyer to block in front. That's what happens with a good block. D. Harrell down to the 15, trying to get in. Touchdown, D. Harrell. Dion Dyer leads the way, and D. Harrell scoots around the near side with 9:47 to go in the half. D. Harrell will get credit for 6 points, but we may have to give 2 of those to Dion Dyer for the block. Excellent job of turning the corner. You can see how explosive Harrell is, and he just got that corner turned, and there was nobody going to catch him. Found the defense up too tight, nobody back there. Husky to hold for Verdi to make it a 7-point lead. Good snap. Kick is away. Good pressure from the Hampton special teams, but it will go through. Coming into tonight's game, Verdi good on 87% of those extra point attempts. So the Hornets with reason to celebrate, but don't forget,
man on the other side of the ball, Ronald Curry, can get a touchdown in a hurry. But right now, the Hornets explode for the touchdown. Number 44, Deion Dyer, pretty pleased.
Well, you know what they did is they really did a fine job of that. First of all, the Crabbers had a first down. Rainey wasn't able to hold on to it. They came up with a recovery, and any good team will do that. They come up with a big play like that, and so many times you catch the other team still thinking about what happened, and Deep Creek made a good opportunistic play out of that.
And again, in a big game, how many times does it come down to turnovers?
We talked about it, and that's what hurt Phoebus last week against this Deep Creek team, and here's a perfect example. There's 7 points off a turnover.
So Verdi will try to pin the Crabbers back deep again. Chris Ricks is standing at the 3-yard line along with Rainey and Carlos Ford. And the Hornets will do their patent swing as Chris Ricks is ready to receive. This one fielded by one of the up men looking for blockers in front across the 20. The Deep Creek Hornets will stop the Crabbers right there as Kenny Crawford on that return.
Just took the Hornets 13 seconds to score. Just that one play. Harold turning the right corner, 50 yards. The TD with all the trimmings. That's about the right time of the year for that, right? Here's your replay.
Here's the replay of the kick return. Watch the hit from the special teams.
Kenny Crawford, and he did a good job just to hold on to that ball.
Deep Creek defense, very physical. Coach Bill D mentioned when we talked with him last week about how hard this Deep Creek defense does hit as the Hornets are plotting some offensive strategy on the side. And here comes Ricks on the delay. Across the 39, Torrey Wilson luckily stays home for the Hornets, but very quickly the Crabbers answer back with a first down from Chris Ricks. That delay.
Yeah, I don't want to be too redundant, but Chris Ricks has really come on strongly, and I've finished my last conversation about him with the fact that he had 242 yards against Gloucester. Now, Gloucester was one of the weaker teams in the Peninsula District, but 242 yards in any competition is pretty strong stuff. Of course, in that same game, Carlos Ford had 210, so it was kind of a track meet that night.
A shootout. The Crabbers will have a first down. This one will go to Ricks. Ricks waiting for the blockers, tries to cut it back. Kenny Manning there. Loss of maybe one as the Hornet defense strings the play out.
That was a fine effort by the defense, and I try and pick out a name to give credit to. Wes Cochran, number 67, was there. Let's also give credit to Haskett, number 45. But again, that was great pursuit by the Hornet defense as a team.
If John Madden were here, Wes Cochran would be on the All-Madden team. There's no doubt. He's right around the football, down there in the middle. Be the dirtiest guy on the field before the night's over. Second down, 8 for the Crabbers. Curry wants to put it up top. Gets pressure. He's going to run it. In the open field, very dangerous. Across the 45. I believe he'll have the first down. Slips on the track. Hope Curry's okay.
Boy, you just wouldn't want your quarterback to end up not able to play because he tripped on the track. But Curry last week was very slow to get up on the very last play of the game. He intercepted a ball in the end zone that Booker T was desperately trying to get that tying score, and he ran it back about 45 yards. And in the last play, he was knocked very physically out of bounds, and took about 15 minutes before he got up, so I'm glad to see him back tonight.
8:25 to play first half, 14-7. Hornets on top, Crabbers with the ball in Hornet territory. The option play to Ricks. Ricks gets around the end. Kenny Manning able to trip him up, and George Miller will finish the play off after a good gain of, let's say, 7 for the Crabbers.
The Crabbers, again, are doing an excellent job of switching up the offense. They're going to Ricks, wide right, sweeping to the right, Carlos Ford. But a lot of this stuff is really on the delay. You might even call it a draw play almost.
Maybe the great pursuit of this Deep Creek defense, they hope they'll pursue, and the delays are being one of the biggest plays for the Crabbers so far. And they'll go out of that eye and give it to Ford.
Horton is trying to get the first down. It looks like he may have gotten it. It depends on where they spot the ball. Rick's, so far in the first half, Mickey, 9 carries for 75 yards.
You mentioned earlier not a lot of success in the middle of that offensive line for the Hampton Crabbers, but they do get the first down there when you want short yardage. You like to keep it in the middle of the field, and they'll have the 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. 7:30 now to go first half. Crabbers trail by 7. Starting another drive deep in their own territory. Now at the Hornet 33-yard line. They'll send Rainey to the near side. This one goes to Ricks, and there's the all-Madden player, Wes Cochran, with a stop.
I have not seen this young man prior to tonight, but I'm very impressed with him. He's only 5'11", goes in at 210, but he, as you said very appropriately, Mickey, he's always around the ball, so that's the kind of guy you want on your defensive team.
It's a guy that gets more and more calls every television game that we do. We say his name more and more each week, and Wes Cochran playing the best football of his season here when it matters in the playoffs. 2nd down 10 for the Crabbers from the 33. Complete. Good for first down yardage. Najah Bailey on the reception. Good for a first down to the 23-yard line now. Let's see, that's inside the 23. That's about the 17-yard line.
And Najah Bailey hasn't gotten the numbers this year that Rainey or Hawkins have put up there, but he's been pretty steady. He's got 8 catches on the season for 145 yards, and he's been somebody who's been consistent. When they go to him, he's got good hands. He comes up with the ball.
Rainey to the near side. They're looking for Rainey. Underthrown. Good coverage from Waters. Curry may have hurried that one just a bit.
He's getting good pressure from Deep Creek, and he's not getting a lot of time, at least on that play he did. Most of the time he's been doing all right, but Curry, again, as a freshman, he hasn't really shown that he is prone to stay in that pocket. He's so good running the ball that he'll move out of that pocket in a hurry. So far, 3 out of 7 for 50 yards in the first half for Ron Curry.
Quick pass may have been deflected by Boone, but goes complete to Hawkins. I thought Vernon Boone got a hand on that, but it goes to Hawkins for the completion. He'll get a gain of about 4. Don't see that every day.
Most of the time, if you see that happen, it's not going to be a completed pass. But again, Hawkins, probably the best receiver on the team. Good concentration, stuck with it, and brought that down for a nice gain of about 5 yards.
3rd and 5 now from the 12-yard line for Coach Mike Smith and the Crabbers. Making their 11th appearance, or make that their 12th appearance in the Eastern Region Finals. Seems like they're always here. Curry out of the eye. Here comes the counter play.
A trick play. The pitch went to
Hawkins.
Hawkins on the flanker around.
He'll get the first down. You could see it coming as Hawkins started coming back to the near side. Curry was going to him all the way. And that's a big play. Good for a first down inside the 5-yard lines for Ahmad Hawkins.
Now, I haven't seen Hampton play every game this year, but I will tell you that in the 5 games I've seen them play, that's the first time I've seen that particular call. And that might have just been put in for this game.
It's a great call with the pursuit of this Deep Creek defense. Have them going one way and make them run back across the far side of the field. It is good for a first down. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 3 at the 2, and they'll go out of the I formation. The tailback will be Carlos Ford. They're going to give it to Ford up the middle. Deep Creek defense there for the challenge. Vernon Boone and Kenny Manning along with George Miller.
And I don't want to make myself sound like I knew what I was talking about, but
it looks good right now.
It looks good right now. That the middle is not someplace where Hampton has been very successful in the games that I've seen. They have much more success because of the quickness of Ricks and Ford when they try and turn to the outside.
2nd down and goal. We'll call it a loss of 1, and the ball will be spotted at the 3. Curry will, of course, have Ford at the tailback, and Darrell Smith in front of Ford. Curry on the bootleg. He'll race for the corner.
He's in.
And he gets in. Touchdown, Ronald Curry.
I've seen that play too. And Curry is so quick. He's elusively quick. He's going to get in whenever he has that much room. They did a nice job of drawing the defense to the other side.
So the Crabbers cut the lead to 1 with the touchdown from Curry. And with 5:03 to play in the first half, the extra point team will come on for the Crabbers. Steve Redfern. No, this is Lindsey Sharp to kick. Hornets get good pressure, but it goes through to tie it up.
That was real close to being blocked, and you don't see that happen on an extra point drive very often. That was a clean snap, clean hold, and the young man from Deep Creek almost got a hand on it.
Jason Waters could have been the hero there, just barely missed that kick. Lindsey Sharp gets it through to tie the ball game at 14. The Hornets will get the ball back with 5:03 to play in the first half. Mickey Irving and Tim Cole, Merlin Vaughn on the sidelines. Ryan Wick, the president of Smacky Stats Incorporated, in the booth, working all the numbers at a feverish pace for the Eastern Region Division 5 championship, and it's been everything we hoped so far, with both teams scoring 2 touchdowns, and the Hornets looking to get the ball back now with a little over 5 minutes to play in the first half.
Well, the fans have been treated to a real good first half. If you like defense, this wasn't the game to come to. But that's not to say the defense isn't being hard fought out there, because both teams are doing some fine hitting. But you've got 2 real explosive offenses.
And if you like offense, don't forget to tune in Saturdays at noon on Channel 23, Mondays at 4, and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Be sure and watch us right here for the best of Chesapeake High School football on Channel 23. Sharp kicks it away. It's going to be a short kick, and Cedric Williams will get under the ball at the 20 with some blockers in front, but a great play by Carlos Ford on special teams to fight through the block and make the tackle. Special announcement: this Thursday, the parade, the Chesapeake Christmas Parade, will be on first, so the game will follow at 9:30 on Channel 23. The Christmas Parade first on Thursday, then the parade will be on 7:30 live, then watch Channel 20, Sports Beat 23 for the Hampton Deep Creek game. Arnie Powell gives it to Dion Dyer. Great defensive pressure.
That scoring drive, if I can recap that quickly for us, Mickey, 4:44 was the time of possession. The Crabbers drove a number of 12 plays, 72 yards. Bailey with a 16-yard reception. Curry, the final 3 yards. Indulgence. So Curry, I had him for 2. My main man here to my right, knowing better than I, because I can't see where they're darn tonight.
I'll tell you, Donnie Green made another big defensive play just then for the Hornets. He's had 2 big hits. Arnie Powell to throw it. Going across for Watson. Not going to see that happen a lot. He may have heard footsteps in and out of the hands of Kendall Watson.
You know, one thing that I always want to remind the fans, these are high school players. They are going to drop passes they should catch, just like they do in college, just like they do in pro. That ball should have been caught, but I think he was looking downfield. He wanted to think about what he was going to do before he brought it in. So if you learn anything from that, you don't do that next time.
To Watson will be the first one to tell you that's a ball he catches 90% of the time. But after that big run he had on his last reception, maybe he was looking to run it before he caught it on that one. And the Hornets will have a 3rd and 10 now. Powell, pressure from Green. And Green's not going to let go, and Powell will go down. Donnie Green.
I don't know. I don't have individual defensive stats for Hampton, but Donnie Green is not a name that we've called a lot during the Hampton games. So he is kind of a diamond in the rough here that has made 3 fine defensive plays here in the first half.
And now Brad Watson of the Hornets will have to kick it away. He'll be standing in the shadow of the goalpost at his own 3-yard line with 3:30 now to play in the first half. The Crabbers should get great field position, and Ronald Curry back to return the kick. No pressure. Kick takes a Crabber bounce. And Hampton will have good field position at the Hornet 39.
Looked like the punter hit that with a 9-iron, Mickey. The ball just hit the ground, dug in, and actually bounced about 2 yards back, as you said, a Hampton roll. And then it would just lie there. So, the field is a little damp because of all the rain that was earlier in the week. But the field's in great field position, great playing condition. But it really hit the ground and just, boom, went dead.
And this is a shootout at Western Branch tonight. as it's tied at 14 and Hampton gets the ball back. This one goes to Ricks across the far side. George Parker and Big Vernon Boone over there to force Ricks out of bounds.
2:50 remaining in the first half. 14 all. The Crabbers took the lead 7-0 after a turnover, block punt, if you will, or block field goal attempt rather. Then Dyer returned it 7-7. Then Harold Back made it 14-7 in favor of Deep Creek, and Curry's tied it up with a 3-yard run to make it 14 apiece.
We'll have an official's timeout now. I think we have an equipment problem in the Hampton huddle. Get everything under control.
I want to mention something for the Hampton fans, and again, speaking from just for myself, I'm real glad that we have the opportunity to work with you folks doing this game. But if Hampton should advance, the Channel 5 crew will follow Hampton to the state semifinals.
Curry going downfield, and I think Rainey may have been looking for an interference call there.
Curry took a pretty good shot as he let the ball go. Haskett laid the lumber on him, and it was a good, clean play, but he did take a pretty good shot just as he let that long pass fly.
It's going to be 3rd down and 7 now. A definite throwing situation for Coach Mike Smith, but if there is a book, we don't know if Mike Smith really goes by the book. He uses the element of surprise, and it's worked for many years for Coach Smith and the Hampton Crabbers, but they will have a 3rd down and 7 now. Ball at the 36-yard line of the Hornets. Curry to throw. Out in the flats, complete. Close to a 1st down. The Hornets defense converges, but a great second effort.
That was Darryl
Smith.
Yeah, Darryl Smith, and he is not somebody that the Crabbers have gone to with a lot of regularity, but he showed a super second effort to get what appears to be, and it is a 1st down.
Great second effort from Darryl Smith, as we'd have to say 5 Hornets around the football there.
You're talking about Mike Smith and his success. He is a very unorthodox coach. He's not going to let you guess what he's going to do, but he's done it 18 consecutive appearances in the regionals, Eastern regionals, and he's 35-12 in all of his postseason appearances as a coach.
Curry looking for the end zone for Rainey. Just over the fingertips. Good coverage from Jason Waters. 1:42 now to play in the first half.
You saw Ron Curry, the 15-year-old freshman, running to his left, throwing as a right-hander. He got a lot of zip on that ball, and if he'd taken a little of that zip off of it, that might have been a touchdown. That's the toughest throw, and you know it is, that for a right-handed quarterback to run to his left, square those shoulders up. But I've seen him throw the ball 50 yards on the money.
So when this guy really learns the position, people better watch out. Just a freshman. 6'3", 186. He's going to send Rainey to the near side on this play, and they'll go out of split backs with 1:42 remaining in the half. Quick pass, complete to Hawkins on the far side. He bobs and weaves before D'Amica Haskett will force him out of bounds.
You know, the kicking game, you and I were talking about it, the Crabbers have no field goals this year. So if you're thinking about a tie-breaking field goal here late in the first, Lindsey Sharp has done a great job kicking extra points this year, but he has not gotten a field goal yet.
Comes down to the kicking game. The Hornets do have Joe Verdi, who has 4 field goals on the year. And remember, this isn't the NFL. 4 field goals in a season for a high school kicker is a great year. They're going to send 3 receivers of the Crabbers now. Twin receivers to the near side. Curry, plenty of time to throw. Dumps it to Smith. Smith breaks a couple of tackles, and the second effort gets him inside the 5-yard line. Darryl Smith sort of lays the helmet to the Hornets there.
Darryl Smith is showing real aggressive running out there tonight. And as I said, he's not a young man that's done a lot of running this year. His best game was 44 yards against Warwick High School on 7 carries. So he had 1 for 74 last week, and that might have been enough to really boost his confidence. But by the way, I need to do a quick plug here. The Daily Press on the Peninsula side provides us with all these stats all year long. I want to thank all the fine writers at the Daily Press for all their help.
And I'd like to thank you for the copy of that. Is he in? Ford in for the touchdown, waiting for the signal. It is. Touchdown. Carlos Ford of the Hampton Crabbers. Crabbers go on top 20-14 with 1:08 remaining in the first half. The Hampton fans with plenty to cheer about on the far sideline. Carlos Ford, the senior, gets the call. In the short yardage situation, gets in for the score to make it 20-14. Now Lindsey Sharp will be in for the extra point. We'll have an official's timeout.
Mickey, that is the 26th touchdown of the season for Carlos Ford. He had 2 last week against Booker T. 26 on the season.
And that one is blocked by Jason Waters.
You just had to know it was going to happen. He almost got it the last time, and Sharp, again, just had it blocked. Great job by the special teams for Deep Creek to block the extra point.
It would appear that Jason Waters is getting through untouched.
Reception setting up the 2-yard plunge. The TD broken zipper, Mr. Ford.
You know, he's going to run out of these after Thanksgiving. He wasn't planning on an offensive game with this theme. Cedric Williams will be back as Torrey Wilson and the Hornets will regroup on the sideline there. Cedric Williams with the hurt ankle. He may be 75 or 80%. We haven't seen Cedric Williams really break loose yet and show the speed that he has. But he'll be flanked by Angelo Sykes and number 6 Lawrence Claiborne. Sharp to kick it away, and they're going to pooch kick this one. D'Amica Haskett will field it at the 35, and the big linebacker slash running back, as he filled in for an injured Deion Dyer last year, gets a little offensive work, and we have a Crabber shaken up on the play as big number 45, D'Amica Haskett, comes off the field to catch a rest. So Hornets will take over on offense.
And that's Darrell Smith, who is slow getting up for the Crabbers. So his inability to continue, should that be the case, could be a big loss for the Crabbers. He's been a big part of this first half offensive surge.
Let's see if Arnie Powell and the Hornets will put it up top with 1:03 remaining first half. They're going to send Jason Waters split to the near side of the field, and his favorite target, Kendall Watson, to the far. They'll go out of the wing T. The setback will be Deion Dyer. Dyer will stay in the block. Good protection. Downfield for Waters. Complete at the 15. Touchdown, Jason Waters. He blocks the extra point. Then he'll come back and get the touchdown reception.
What a super pass and catch. That ball was thrown right on target, and there wasn't 6 feet off the ground on the entire distance. That ball was a rocket.
And that's going to be Jason Waters' first touchdown of the year. Now the big extra point, as we're tied at 20 with 47 seconds remaining in the first half. Joe Verdi coming into tonight, 28 of 32 extra point attempts were good. He'll give the Hornets the lead. The Deep Creek fans want to roughing the kicker, but Joe Verdi did take the acting classes at Chip Lowmiller's camp this summer. So we'll not have an unsportsmanlike penalty. It'll be a 21-20 lead for the Hornets.
We're going to run out of stat paper here before this one's over with. What's the over and under on this game, Mickey? Do you know?
I tell you, I would hope that I would have played the over since we're at 41 already.
Quite a first half explosion. You know, we're just as likely to have no scoring in the second half. I've seen games like this where the coaches go in at halftime and they make the adjustments, and it usually boils down to the team that makes the right adjustments that makes the difference in the ball game.
The Crabbers will get the ball back with 47 seconds left, and you say that's not enough time? Well, it didn't take the Hornets very long to score.
How long did it take, you asked? 21 seconds, and I'd have to guess that 20, maybe 18 of those seconds was the running around for the quarterback before he threw it 59 yards. Powell to Waters for leftovers, and I mean, that was a bullet. I have not seen a pass with more velocity on it all season than that one.
The Deep Creek special team, the kicking unit known for their swing, will start the swing now as Joe Verdi ready to kick it away. 21-20, Hornets on top. This will be a short kick. Hawkins is going to run up. No, one of the up men will field it. Go to the middle of the field, and he's hit hard
was Kenny
Lawrence
Crawford
Claiborne.
again.
Kenny Carpenter.
Kenny Crawford, I'm sorry.
Crawford, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is not bashful when it comes to running them back, but that was a fine stick.
He definitely wanted that ball. He cut in front of the other back there. Joe Verdi, the kicker, will get a break. It's been a busy night for the kickers as well. We're down to 39 seconds. And Ron Curry will get the ball back in his hands with 3 receivers, twin receivers to the near side. They'll go out of the I formation. Curry on the delay. Ricks doesn't have as much success that time as Vernon Boone makes the stop, but Vernon almost had to reach back to make that stop.
You know, again, those are the adjustments that you make during the game. The defensive coaching for the Hornets have seen Ricks. They anticipated that there might be a pass, but, you know, when you've got a few seconds left in the first half, it looks like the Crabbers are just going to let the time run out. They decided, hey, we don't want to run the risk of giving up a fumble here and another 3 points. So
let's see if we can go down to Merlin Vaughn with Coach Jerry Carter on the sideline.
Coach, you're going with the momentum.
Well, you know, it was, you're right. I hope we keep it. I'm kind of speechless after that. I told him before the game that particular pattern would never be over, so I guess it shows how much I know.
All right. Good luck in the second half. All right, halftime festivities are on their way. A close game, 21-20. What could you ask for? You can ask for more. Back upstairs.
The Hornets will take a 1-point lead in the second half, and we'll be back here on Sports Beat 23 for Hampton Deep Creek, the second half of the Eastern Region Division 5 Championship. After 2 complete quarters, the score, Hornets 21, Crabbers 20.
If you're the kind of person who'd rather tune an engine than eat, have we got a machine for you? And in the hands of the right mechanic, it'll blow the doors off anything. Aim high, Air Force.
Welcome back to Bruin Field at Western Branch. The Deep Creek Hornets and the Hampton Crabbers have played a great first half. The score, the Hornets 21, the Crabbers 20. Mickey Irving and Tim Cole, along with Merlin Vaughn and Ryan Wick of Smacky Stats. A great first half.
it really was, Mickey. You really couldn't ask for more from both teams. You get the quick strike offense. You had an excellent running game. You had some great special teams efforts. It just was everything that you'd want a game of this importance to be. And I was certainly impressed with both teams in the first half. And
the score wouldn't indicate how good the defense has been. These are two outstanding offensive teams. Big hits from Vernon Boone, as we always see. And really, the man of the hour defensively is somewhat of a surprise for the Hampton Crabbers, is Danny Green.
Yeah, Donnie has really come on strong. No, that's right. He really hasn't been a big defensive player in the sense that there haven't been a lot of stats for him, but he really has played a very fine first half.
We're about ready for first half stats, excuse me. Of course, the score 21-20. Thanks to the Jason Waters block field goal, the Hornets have the 1-point lead. You look at the rushing yardage in favor of the Crabbers, passing, the yardage in favor of the Hornets, but Curry a very impressive 7 of 13 for 91 yards. And the total yardage 174 for the Hornets, 210 for the Crabbers. 13 first downs for the Crabbers to just 4 for the Hornets. And of course, the 1 turnover on the fumble after a reception for the Crabbers. The Smacky Stats guys who came back for seconds. Harrell had 4 rushes for 57 yards and a touchdown. Waters had the 59-yard touchdown reception. And for the Crabbers, Ricks 12 rushes for 73 yards and a touchdown, and Rainey's has 2 receptions for 34 yards. And is time of possession misleading? Hampton had the ball 16 minutes 24 seconds to Deep Creek's 7 minutes and 36 seconds, and the Hornets have the 1-point lead.
And let's credit the fact that the Hornets had 2 one-play drives. I mean, they had the 59-yard pass to Waters, which was just a superb offensive play. And then, of course, you had the 50-yard run by Harrell. So 2 plays gets you 14 of your 21 points. You don't have to have the ball a long time. And by the way, and I don't want to dispute what you said about the turnovers, but I consider the field goal that was blocked in the first quarter to be a turnover. If in fact it wasn't officially, at least it was important in that it stopped the momentum at the time, and that led to the 70-yard drive for the Crabbers.
The best drive of the night by the Crabbers. They played with total confidence on that drive after the block kick, starting at their own 30-yard line and just marching down the field. The Hornets deferred in the first half, so they will receive in the second half. Really, the weather conditions have been cool, but the wind has not been a factor. It's just been a well-played first half football game, as the Hornets will get it to start the second half with a 1-point lead. And from Cable Channel 5 on the Peninsula to do the third quarter play-by-play, Tim Cole.
Thank you, Mickey. It has been a real pleasure bringing this game to the fans on both sides of the water, and personally I hope this is the beginning of a lot more of these endeavors. I would like to see the possibility of more high school sports being shown on both sides of the water. I think it's a great effort on the part of Chesapeake to bring these games, and we've been doing it for a number of years at Hampton, and the fans love it, and the kids do too, and that's the big part, is these kids get a chance to be showcased. They work hard all year long to make these teams, and whether you're a starter or a non-starter, it's important to every one of these young men.
And don't forget, if you're just tuning in, Saturdays at noon, Mondays at 4, and usually we're on at 8 o'clock on Thursdays, but this Thursday we'll be following the Chesapeake Christmas Parade. Then we'll go back to our regular times at Mondays at 4, Thursdays at 8, and Saturdays at 12 on Channel 23. And the Crabbers are just about ready to kick it away. The
big difference in this game, I think, is going to be the second half adjustments, Mickey. Which team makes the right adjustments? The Crabbers have been successful on the delays. The Deep Creek Hornets have been successful on the big play. So you've got to, as a coach, you've got to figure out some way to stop these parts of the game. Lindsey Sharp has it teed up. He's set to kick off, and the third quarter is underway. The ball bounces right to Harrell, and he will take it up the middle to about the 37, 38-yard line, where the Hornets will have good field position to start the third quarter.
Offensively, the Hornets will be led by big number 44, Dion Dyer, the sophomore quarterback, Arnie Powell, Claiborne and D. Harrell in the backfield. Kendall Watson has gotten back in the action, so to speak, with a couple of big grabs for the Hornets, and they'll be coming out of that wing tee.
Interestingly, Dyer, who was the showcase player for this team, has not been the one that has hurt Hampton here in the first half. On the handoff to D. Harrell, he gets out close to the 40-yard line before the right defensive side of the Hampton line makes the stop.
We haven't seen that play from Deep Creek. That's a fake to Dyer up the middle. They give it to Harrell, and he acts like he's carrying out the fake and moves on the delay. And we haven't seen it on Channel 23, but I think the Crabber defense had seen it before.
That was an interesting play. And again, if you're Hampton, you've got to say, okay, they're going to get Dyer in the game. They're going to get him involved in the game. And that's a good play by Deep Creek, because you've got to be expecting Dyer to be more involved. Gain of almost 3 on the play. Second down, and let's call it a long 7. Pitch goes to Harrell, the right side this time. Lead blocker is Dyer, and Harrell is tripped up after a short gain at about the 41-yard line. So the Crabbers defense has read that play well, and it'll bring up a third down and long for the Deep Creek Hornets. Arnie Powell, though, has shown a real fine arm here in the first half. As you said, he didn't throw a lot of times, but he was highly successful when he did.
What does Curry need to do to outstat this guy? Curry's 7 for 13, throws for 90 yards. Well, Powell, 2 of 4, over 100 yards in the first half.
Big third down and about 6.5, almost 7. Harrell gets pressure, gets away from a would-be tackler. He's going to fall down just short of the first down as he crossed the 45, got almost to the 46. In fact, they'll mark the ball at the 46, but they need to get to the 48. Now, last week, Booker T. Washington, on 2 consecutive series on a 4th and less than 2 went for it in their own territory. That's the kind of confidence that Booker T had in their offense. And let's see if the Hornets, Jerry Carter, has that same attitude here with his big running stable.
I would definitely kick it away here. Watson will trot on the field. I may have left the offense on and tried to get Hampton to jump and then call timeout, but I think a smart move here to kick it.
Long count. Kick is a fine, high, spiraling kick, chasing Curry all the way back. He fumbles the ball. It's a muff, and he covers the ball very alertly inside the 15-yard line for Hampton, but Curry, difficulty with that kick.
Are you sure he's a freshman? Because a freshman would have kicked that and knocked it around and lost total control, but a smart play after a mistake to just fall on that ball and not try to advance it there.
And without beating that horse to death, Mickey, that's what he has done this year, is he has shown the poise of a senior while playing as a freshman. And that's been one of the greatest attributes to this young man, is his poise under pressure. He brought Hampton back in victories over Kickingham and Phoebus and Tab in order to win those games when they were trailing in the ballgame.
Coach Carter shows confidence in the defense here after the great kick. The defense in good shape.
Oh, what a hit in the middle of that line by Deep Creek. And I'm glad to see him getting up. That was Christopher Ricks as he got to the 20-yard line. I didn't pick up the Deep Creek Hornet that nailed him, but nailed him was the correct terminology. That was quite a hit.
If the Hornets can make a stand here, they should get good field position. Remember, the kicking team for the Crabbers has been a bit shaken up. Steve Redfern has a broken hand. I don't think he's going to be able to kick anymore the rest of the night.
I might be surprised to see him, if they get into a 4th down, punt the ball. Of course, kicking hasn't been a huge part of this game from the punting standpoint because both teams have been able to move the ball. 2nd down and about 4. Curry back to pass, finds some running room up the middle, gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers, and then all the way out to the 35-yard line for a 1st down for Hampton.
This is what Hornet fans have to worry about. They get good downfield coverage on the receivers, but Curry, with that great athletic ability, able to bob and weave and see the field and see the defenders, gets the 1st down. I think I'd rather have Curry throw the ball.
George Miller shaken up on the play for the Hornets as he is being attended to, and hopefully he will be able to continue, but right now he is definitely in some discomfort.
And this is one of those big hitters for the Hornets, is George Miller, coming from that linebacker position. And you love to see that. The Crabbers come up and hope George Miller's okay. Now let's mention it now, because great sportsmanship on both sides of the ball so far tonight.
You're absolutely right, and I'm not being familiar with the Chesapeake side of the water, but certainly in Hampton and Phoebus played just a battle, which Hampton won, as you probably know, in overtime with the 2-point conversion. That game was over with. Both teams met, hugged, congratulated each other, shook hands. It was a great display of sportsmanship.
And it's carrying on here when tempers could be high in the region finals, but it hasn't been that way so far.
Crabbers 1st down at the 35. This is Curry. He's got the fake. He's got a man behind the defense, and the defense is able to respond because Torrey Wilson played the ball extremely well, and the problem here was that Curry didn't air the ball out far enough. If he put a lead on that ball, that would have been 6.
Torrey Wilson able to get back and barely get a hand on that ball. Great defensive coverage for the man who was not able to play last week. All the Hornet players wore the number 8 sticker on their helmet for Torrey Wilson. Really another one of these defensive leaders for Coach Jerry Carter and Coach Dukes, but he was lucky to get back and get a hand on that ball.
If that had been thrown sooner, it might have also been more effective. Instead, it's just a long, incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10. 7:52 left in the 3rd. Again, Curry has the ball, rolling, looking, got a man behind the defense, and Najah Bailey can't come up with it. He had a clear field at the 48-yard line at a 1st down, but thrown a little bit behind him, and he couldn't quite bring the ball in.
Bailey did have to reach back on that one, and Curry really threw that one on a line. That was a bullet. Bailey had to reach back just a bit with his momentum going towards the far sideline, unable to pick it up.
Now the Crabbers, and again, you say you might start to question, so well, look, when they were so successful running the ball in the 1st half, they've come out and they're throwing the ball in the 2nd half. You might raise that question, but
a throwing situation now.
It's definitely a must situation now. 3rd and 10. Of course, you always have that ability to use the quickness on the delay, but I'd be surprised not to see it. Hawkins is open at the 48, and he also can't hold on to the ball. That ball was thrown a lot better than the one to Bailey, but again, Hawkins had to dive for the ball. It was a little low and unable to come up with it. It'll bring up 4th down, and let's see who's going to come out, try the kicking. I think that's Crawford, number 12, is going to be back in deep punt formation. Yes, it is. So he'll be in deep punt formation for Deep Creek.
No, this is going to be number 42. That's going to be Redfern again.
Well, I saw Crawford. Crawford will be the up man, so I stand corrected.
See if he catches it.
He did. He got a much better kick this time. It's going to take a Hampton roll at the 35. It's picked up. And this is Cedric Williams, chased out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
And we didn't pick up on this. Smacky Stats right on the ball again. Dion Dyer was back at linebacker for the Hornets, as they've done on big plays now in the last 2 playoff games. So don't be surprised if you see big number 44 back there on a big 3rd or 4th down play for the Hornets. Does Mike Smith go with that theory? I'm sure he does, since Curry had the interception last week. You want your big guys in on offense or defense.
It's over the years, the Crabbers have gone with a lot of two-way players and been very successful in doing so. The Deep Creek now give the ball to the big man Dyer, and Dyer out across the 40, enough for a 1st down at the 42-yard line, and the big man showed great quickness off the mark that time.
Is this a case now of fake to Dyer, keep going to Harrell, and now they're starting to maybe look for Harrell a little bit? So now's the time to give it to the big man.
Absolutely, and they did it for a 1st down. Gain of almost 11 on the play. The ball is marked just short of the 43. Deep Creek leading by a single point here in the 3rd quarter. 7:05 remaining in the 3rd. And in motion is Claiborne. And again, the handoff this time goes to Cedric Williams. I understand he is playing in this game after coming off of an injury that prevented him from playing last week.
An ankle injury, and I don't think we're going to see the real Cedric Williams tonight. I would really be surprised. He is one of the quicker guys in this Deep Creek backfield, and I think with the ankle injury, he's still hampered somewhat. He's going to stay in the ball game, though, so number 21 back in the lineup for the Hornets.
Pickup of 5 on the play, so if you're injured running back and get 5 on the carry, you're going to be real pleased with that. 2nd down and a 5 to go at the 48. This is Williams again, and Williams crosses midfield. He's very close to another 1st down. So now we're starting to see what we thought we would see more Deep Creek do, and that is to try and ball control and run out some time off that clock, try to prevent a track meet like we had in the 1st half.
And they're going to run behind that big offensive line on that play. Big Solly Russell, who was put on the all-district team this week. He's 6 foot, 200-pound senior leading the way on that play. Dontrell Parker, Kevin Parker, and Chris Little, along with Tiernan Hughes, will go across that front line for the Hornets.
Gain of 9. It should be 3 right on the last play. And Dyer gets the 1st down, and he has got more than enough for the 1st down all the way down to the Hampton 24, 23-yard line. So the running game starting to click soundly for the Hornets. They've got the ball at the Hampton, let's see where they mark it, about the 23.
Do you remember the famous run as we watch this replay? Remember Earl Campbell having his shirt tore off and keep running? Watch out, he just explodes into the defender there. He doesn't get hit, he hits. That's what Dion Dyer does best. And he looks like a little Earl Campbell, just coming around the end, gets those shoulders squared up. That's when he's tough to stop.
I don't know if little would be a word I'd use describing his stature. 235 pounds of dynamite headed at you. You've got to tackle this young man low. Rolling, looking, wants to pass, got a man behind the defense, and incomplete. double coverage for the Crabbers, but that was a well-thrown ball by Powell as he had a man in the end zone. That is Harrell, the intended receiver, double coverage, but the ball was on the mark.
I thought Najee Bailey made a nice adjustment on that football there, just at the last second to get back there and break up the ball. D. Harrell was open, but Bailey back there on the double coverage did converge nicely on the ball, making an adjustment as it was in the air.
You see kind of, if you look to the inner parts of this game, Mickey, you see kind of a chess game going on here. Jerry Carter is doing a few different things in this half. Mike Smith tried some different stuff on the first possession for the Crabbers. So it's truly a chess match when it comes to the fine coaching that you've got on both sides of this ball.
They run, then they set up the pass.
You have to get the running to set that pass up. And now Powell looks again, throws, got a man wide open at the 9-yard line. It's a first down and goal. Cedric Williams on the receiving end.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cedric Williams is back 100%. He got out there quickly on that play. Didn't show any indication of that ankle injury, even though he appears to be walking on it a little gingerly now. This one, a bullet from Arnie Powell across the middle. Williams tried to square up and get going. You see he gets up a little gingerly, but big first down completion. Williams will come out of the ball game now, as they may go with that big set with Kenny Manning and Vernon Boone as the blocking backs, and that's what they'll do with Deion Dyer.
First and goal, the ball at the 7-yard line for Deep Creek. They lead 21-20 here in the third quarter. Pitch to the big man, Dyer. Dyer behind blockers, gets away from one man, he'll score. A late flag goes down.
See if it could be a hold against the Hornets.
The flag appeared after the play. Now, whether or not it had anything to do, it might be a dead ball foul. I'm not going to even speculate, but it was back on the opposite side from which Dyer ran. The officials are conferring, and it would appear to be against Hampton.
We have a personal foul against the defense. It's declined. Touchdown.
So a play away from the play itself was a personal foul, and of course the Hornets will take the touchdown as Dyer went from 8 or 7 yards out on the left end, and he got around that one tackler rather, had a good shot at him, but Dyer with that great leg strength just blew right past him.
And Dyer shows pretty good speed for a big man as he made that sprint for the corner with this quick Hampton Crabber defense in pursuit. But Big Deion comes here in the second half and gets his shoulders squared up and sprints to the outside to give the Hornets a lead.
Birdie on to try the extra point, and he can kick extra points from 40 yards out with the leg he's got, as there's been no question about the strength of his leg. Dyer, and we heard this before this game, after we watched Michael Bassnight of Booker T. Washington last week, they are so similar in their power and their speed and their quickness. So it's kind of like watching Bassnight and Dyer out of the same mold.
Take a look at this replay. Watch Deion Dyer. He's looking for a block right here from Kenny Manning. A great block. Here's the sprint to the end zone, and he gets in for the touchdown. Big Deion Dyer, number 44, congratulated by his teammates, and pretty good speed to get around that corner there for the big man. We mentioned it in the first half, and I'm going to say it again. Great athletes step up to the occasion, and Ronald Curry is far from finished in this ballgame with just 4:24 to go in the third quarter. He's going to try to answer what Deion Dyer has just done.
Well, and you know, if you look back at the possession that the Crabbers had here in the third quarter, 2 of those 3 passes easily could have been caught, and that drive could still be going. So some drop passes have not helped his cause at all in the third. This one's taken by Ricks at the 5-yard line. Chris Ricks, and he is going to be stopped cold at the 20.
That scoring drive for the Hornets to make the score 28-20, 3 minutes 5 seconds and 7 plays, covered 69 yards. The keys, Dyer, 3 rushes totaling 45 yards, including the 7-yard button-popping touchdown run.
So the Crabbers, in my opinion, Mickey, this is a crucial series. The Crabbers trailing by 8 now. Of course, our fans are fully familiar with the 2-point conversion in high school ball, but this is a crucial series, in my opinion, for the Crabbers.
See if they're going to keep it on the ground. We haven't seen the delay in the second half yet.
Wide receivers right and left. Curry again rolling and looking on the play action. Got a man open, and he's got Najee Bailey complete at the 39-yard line. So where Bailey dropped that pass in the first possession in the third quarter, now he makes the catch. And this, in my opinion, comes down to determine who's a championship team and who isn't.
And that, I believe, as you mentioned, was the same pass play, but Curry able to get the ball in front of Bailey on that one where he could make the catch. And the great teams answer, and I believe that the Crabbers, they also know that this is a crucial drive, and they want to put some points on the board right here.
First down at the 39-yard line, 3:50 remaining in the third. Curry, again, off of play action. Same play. Got a man deep, and he's got it at the 10-yard line. Touchdown! Ahmad Hawkins on the receiving end of the Curry pass makes it 28-26.
And we said that Curry would have an answer for Dion Dyer. The great athletes always do. And Curry puts the ball on the money for the touchdown reception to the sophomore Hawkins.
This is a young Hampton team, by the way. Ricks is a junior. Hawkins is a sophomore. Curry is a freshman. The defense is laden with young players. Peninsula District and the Eastern Region going to have tough times here. Crabbers going with the theory. You're down by 2, you go for 2. No reason to do anything else. Curry rolling, looking. It's going to be a sprint to the corner. He's in. 2 points. We're tied at 28.
How close was that? Curry wasn't sure if he got in or not. Pursuit from Vernon Boone and Kenny Manning, but he did just get into the corner. And do us a favor, don't walk away from the television set. We're tied at 28.
What a football game, Mickey. This is one of those games when you say that terrible cliche. Unfortunately, one of these two teams has to lose tonight.
And this is also one of those games 10 years from now, there'll be 50,000 people who say, I was at that game.
Yeah.
You know, this one's going to go down as one that everybody will have wished they were at. We're in for a shootout. Is it too early to say that this could come down to special teams play before it's all over?
Well, so far, the big difference in the first half, at least, was the special teams play. The blocked extra point by Waters, the blocked field goal by the Crabbers, and I wish I could tell you who blocked that kick for Hampton, but the special teams have been instrumental. And again, whenever you have two really fine teams, you find the quality in all aspects of the game. This is set to be kicked by, as Williams is back deep. I believe this is not Redford. Let's see, who is this going to kick off for Hampton? I've got to pick up a number here. Oh, that is Redford. Okay, Redford will kick off. And they kick it away from Williams at the 11-yard line. Harrell. Check that, not Harrell, but rather number 2, Angelo Sykes. I apologize. I'm not as familiar with Deep Creek as I'd like to be.
Angelo Sykes will get some special teams play and an occasional 2 or 3 plays on offense. Not a number that you're going to have to memorize tonight, but Angelo Sykes does come in some crucial situations for the Hornets. That scoring drive, 43 seconds, 2 plays, covered 80 yards. Curry to Hawkins on a 61-yard gravy touchdown.
And that was another example of special teams right there. It looked like there was going to be a loss back at about the 20. It got all the way out to the 33. This is Williams. Williams cuts it inside, does a fine job, rolling all the way out to midfield.
Okay, this is where I say I put my foot in my mouth saying that Cedric Williams wasn't shaken up. He makes a nice cut there.
If his ankle is injured, I'd like to see him when he's healthy.
That would have been a tough cut.
He got that one all the way out to midfield as the Crabber defense, if they are going to win this game, they're going to have to stop the running attack of Deep Creek. And so far in the second half, they have not shown a great ability to do that. As your running game succeeds, so will your passing game. This is Dyer. Dyer for almost 8 yards on that play.
Dyer hit after about a yard past the line of scrimmage and carries the defender. the other 6 yards. That's what Deion Dyer does best. It's going to be very hard to tackle Deion Dyer with one man at this point. And later in the ball game, that's the more that Deion Dyer wants the ball, the more determined he is, and you'll see him. He gets better as the game goes along.
Bill D and the Phoebus Phantoms learned an awful lot about Dyer last week, and the Crabbers are seeing what they already knew. It's going to be tough to stop this big man. Back, short drop, wants to throw, and it is incomplete. Cedric Williams had a shot at it, almost came up with it, but unable to hold on to it. In on the stop for the Crabbers was number 22, Eric Taylor.
Eric Taylor is a step sooner. He has 6 points there. He could have picked that ball off.
That's the kind of pass as a coach that you hold your breath and you don't let it out until the ball is either caught or dropped.
Now how about this big 3rd down 2 play here now? We haven't seen the counter play from the Hornets yet in the second half. It didn't have a lot of effectiveness in the first half.
Well, this is a crucial stop for the Crabbers, but it's going to be tough to keep Dyer from getting 2 yards. It's not Dyer, however, that gets the call. It's Harrell, and Harrell is pushed out of bounds inside the 35 at about the 34. So that was a touchdown-saving tackle, because if he got by that man, he was gone.
And that man was number 1 Curry, always around the football. And on that play, you expected Deion Dyer, well, something the Hornets love to do, let Deion Dyer be that first blocking back. And he's the one that opened the hole for his smaller buddy, D. Harrell, to run behind him and get the first down.
The Hornets at the Hampton 34-yard line. If you joined us late, you have missed the game. It's 28-all late in the 3rd quarter. The fake to Williams. Powell wants to pass. He's getting pressure from Green. He gets a good block downfield, and he is finally out of bounds back at the 20-yard line. But that'll be enough for a first down for the Hornets.
Arnie Powell, not known for his running. He has had some big runs in some key games. You know, you get that 6'4" body running, and he doesn't look like he's very quick, but he's surprisingly quick. Watch now, looking down the field is Powell, keeps looking right here. He decides to tuck it up and run it. Gets some good downfield blocks, cuts it back up the sideline. Good for first down yardage for the Hornets. Arnie Powell, 20 yards tonight rushing.
First down at the Hampton 19. The relentless offensive attack. Trying to turn the corner, does a good job. And he is in. Touchdown! What a run by Lawrence Claiborne.
Lawrence Claiborne goes all season, no touchdowns. He's just a big play man. He gets a touchdown against Phoebus last week, and now the Hornets take the lead behind his touchdown here with 1:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. Guess who made the key block on that?
Let me guess. Mr. Dyer. I'm telling you, I'm impressed with the Hornets. They've got a stable of running backs. You can't key on anyone.
Here comes Deion Dyer leading the way. Watch the block right there. He cuts off behind Deion Dyer, and then he just powers his way into the end zone, does Lawrence Claiborne.
That's a great effort by a young man, only 5'8", 170 pounds. I say that because I want... Oh, blocked. No, missed extra point. Oh, could that be a big one, as Verdi has just been perfect all night long, and he hooked that one left.
I think he may have seen some white jerseys there, and he may have rushed that kick, because that kick could have very easily been blocked.
So in an offensive game like this, the kicking game could become a crucial factor. We talked about it before. Hampton had an extra point block, a field goal block. Now we see the extra point by the usually reliable Verdi, and it's a 6-point difference.
One of the key, what could have happened, number 30, Daryl Husky, the holder for Joe Verdi, shaken up on defense, unable to hold on that extra point. And in the Virginian Pilot today, the twin brothers, Steve and Joe Verdi, said that since Husky was the holder, he was an unofficial brother as well. Well, they missed him on that. Just that little bit of difference could have been the reason that that kick was hooked.
The Hornets led at halftime 21-20, and now they've regained the lead here after the Crabbers had tied it at 28-all.
But you almost feel as if the Crabbers have a hand up after the missed extra point.
Well, and one thing about it, though, you got to go that You got to get that 6. You're right. It's a nice feeling to at least know that, but you got a long ways to go. Ricks upended as he crosses the 20 out to about the 24.
And that's the man, Angelo Sykes, 5'5", 140. He's a guy who is going to play a lot in the future. Just a junior. Next year he'll get more playing time. He comes in on key situations for the Hornets and plays a lot of special teams. That drive to make it 34-28. 1 minute, 47 seconds, 6 plays, covered 67 yards. Williams had the 17-yard rush. Claiborne had the 18-yard clean your plate TD.
And we're still only in the third quarter, folks. It's 34-28 with at least 12 more minutes to go. And I say at least. They play overtime in high school. Curry, play action, has some running room. And he very wisely, with his experience going down the road here, realizes I can turn it up and get a nasty hit, or I can take it out of bounds and save myself for another day. Picked up a big first down all the way out to the 44-yard line and ducked out of bounds, eluding one of those Deep Creek Hornets.
You can tell, though, that Mr. Curry's reputation has preceded him to this side of the tunnel, because Kenny Manning, one of the most aggressive players you'll ever see, sees Curry coming in the open field, and instead of pursuing, he kind of lays back to see what Curry's going to do.
Crabbers first down at their 44. Curry still has the ball. Now gets some pressure, rolling and looking for a block. Again, finds a man at the 45-yard line, out of bounds at the 42.
We may have a flag there. I don't see the flag thrown yet.
He body slammed him, but apparently right on the out-of-bounds marker, so it was a good hit. It wasn't a flagrant type of hit, but again, Curry rolling to his right, sees the pursuit coming, backtracks, and again, rolling to his left as a right-handed quarterback, finds the man with a bullet for the first down. I was unable to pick up, I think that was Rainey that made the grab for the Crabbers, but a first down at the Deep Creek 41. Down close to a 10-yard gain. Darrell Smith, who has not been used here in the second half, picks up almost 10 on the run. It's going to be close enough that they'll bring out they'll just measure it with the eye and move the chains.
And they've used the pass to set up the run now, have the Hampton Crabbers, and they use it wisely to give it to Darrell Smith. Of course, we mentioned in the first half against the Booker T. Bookers last week, he had a 74-yard touchdown run, and I think he's played very well here in this championship game.
First down at the Hornet 31. The pitch, Ricks quickly to the hole, picks up about 4, maybe 5. Half a minute to go in the third quarter. Mickey Irving and yours truly, Tim Cole from Channel 5, joining the Channel 23 crew tonight for a game that I'm certainly glad I didn't miss. And, you know, you and I could do a little campaign here about trying to find a stadium that'll hold more people next time.
So we have people full on both sides and standing all around the track here at Western Branch tonight. And the people who are here are seeing a great ball game.
Fake pitch. Curry still has it, looking. Now finds the pressure, darts away from one would-be tackler and gets the first down at the 20-yard line as time runs out here in the third quarter. Receivers were getting open downfield, but Curry, under the pressure, decided he'd carry the mail himself and ends the third quarter with a first down at the Deep Creek 20. I'll tell you something, I've watched football for a number of years, Mickey. It doesn't get a lot better than this.
And it's guaranteed now that the fourth quarter has started that it'll be a touchdown because I'm doing play-by-play. Let's go down to Merlin Vaughn on the sideline.
An injury report from the Deep Creek Hornets sideline. Starting quarterback Darrell Husky has concussion-like symptoms. He's not going to be able to go. He's out for the ball game. And now joining us is Councilman Alan Krasnoff. Give us your impressions of the game so far.
Merle, it's a non-stop battle back and forth. It's just totally exciting, Merle. It's excellent game being played. I'm looking forward to Deep Creek pulling us out anyway in the fourth quarter, excuse me.
So, Deep Creek in a close game in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, you heard from Councilman Alan Krasnoff. Deep Creek in a close game in the fourth quarter. Back upstairs.
Well, he went out on a limb there.
Can we get a quick shot over to the Hampton side where Mayor from the Hampton side will be able to, he'll have his own.
I'm sure he'll have a prediction.
I have a feeling it might be a different prediction.
Hate to see this. There's Daryl Husky being taken off the field, and that's a key loss for the Hornets. As he is the holder on the extra point, the special teams, and a starting defensive quarterback. Trainer Mickey Woodhouse helping him off the field, and he's in very capable hands. We wish the best for Daryl Husky. It's going to be first down from the 20-yard line of the Hornets for the Crabbers as they'll go out of the I formation. Rainey to the near side and Hawkins to the far. This one goes to Ricks. Ricks inside the 10 before the defensive backs will corral him down, and that's good for another first down for the Crabbers.
I was going to ask you, does the touchdown occur on the first play?
Most of the time, it's the first play.
Third quarter stats. Do I get to do this time? Deep Creek in the third quarter, 11 first downs. This is through 3, I would assume. 185 yards rushing for the Hornets to 181 for Hampton, so the game can't be much closer than that. Passing yardage, 118 for Deep Creek. Hampton now with that long pass has gone on top, 186 yards. Total offense, 303 for the Hornets, 367 for the Crabbers. Still only, we haven't mentioned this, one penalty in the entire game. What a great game this has been, played as clean as it can be.
First and goal from the 9. Curry with all day, darts it, incomplete.
Did you know who had the ball?
Curry fooled me for just a second.
I wasn't sure. I kept looking around. Is this the hidden ball trick? Where is the ball?
Curry has such good poise for just a freshman. Put the ball on his hip there. Took his time with the defenders coming in his face. And the concerned Deep Creek sideline with Ron Curry having the football the second and goal. And Floyd Logan can only sit and watch and root for this Hornet defense with 11:18 to go in the ball game. 34-28, Hornets on top, Crabbers threatening. Curry across the middle, touchdown. That one goes to Hawkins. Now let's make that Noel Rainey.
I'm telling you, those 8s and 9s
They're tough.
They're tough to tell the difference between the two.
Rainey gets the touchdown reception. We're tied up at 34. The extra point team comes in. Curry with a bullet to the back of the end zone to Rainey for the touchdown. Now to kick the extra point, Lindsey Sharp. It's blocked by blocked by Waters. Jason Waters with his second block of the night.
Can you believe that? We talked about it. We predicted that the kicking team, the special teams, might be instrumental. And lo and behold, Waters gets the second block of the night. And I got to tell you, this isn't... Okay, go ahead.
There he is. Jason Waters gets another one. Unbelievable.
This is not an inexperienced extra point kicker that the Crabbers have got out there. He has kicked 33 extra points this year, and I can't tell you, he's probably missed 3 or 4 at the most. Somebody is not picking up the blocking assignment on that end, and I guarantee you that was a huge block again by Waters.
I'm going to ask you a difficult question. Who holds the momentum at this point in the game?
That is a real difficult question because it would seem that it's Hampton's, but you know it keeps ebbing and flowing with every big play like that.
And the offensive 11 for the Hornets are strapping on as the Crabbers are going to kick it away. Angelo Sykes, Cedric Williams, and Lawrence Claiborne. Deep for the Hornets, standing around the 15-yard line.
I don't know, Mickey, but I just can't imagine a better football game for the fans. If they paid with the 5 spot on it, they got every dollar's worth tonight.
Angelo Sykes with the ball across the 25. A couple of blockers in the front, but the special teams of the Crabbers converge nicely. The Hornets will take over 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 11:06 to play in the ball game. And if you had the under-over at 65, you're in good shape. 34 apiece so far.
2:40 was the time of possession for the Crabbers that time. 8 plays, 76 yards. Curry with a 20-yard run. Curry to Rainey for the 9-yard touchdown. And pass the salt.
He's running short now.
He's got if he ever had an arsenal, he's using it up.
Cedric Williams on the carry. Puts his head down after a gain of 5 and another flag. In the NFL, they call that an inadvertent face mask, but they don't call it that in Virginia High School League. It's just a face mask.
And a Crabber is shaken up on the play, too. I can't make out his number. He's holding his knee, and if that... Well, I won't even speculate who it is because I can't see.
Let's hope that's a cramp, and it's kind of a cool night for a cramp, but he is holding the calf now, we see, and that is Robert Blizzard of the Crabbers, number 89, the freshman. And it does indeed look like it's a cramp.
Let's hope so. That's an extremely painful experience, but it's not something that you can't easily recover from, and it looks like...
Face mask against the defense. It's a first down.
Referee Chris Brown, and we'll give a little credit to the men in stripes tonight, doing a good job in this playoff game. They've worked very hard to get to this point as well. Coach Jerry Carter will give the play to Arnie Powell.
Smacky Stats lets me know that in the game, the rushing attack is almost dead even. Deep Creek with 190 yards, Hampton with 192 as we enter the final 10:47 of regulation.
First down after the face mask penalty. Claiborne will come in motion. Hornets start from the 45. This one goes to D. Harrell. Cuts it back, makes the spin move to the 36-yard line. Make it the 27-yard line.
Great offensive line blocking that time. He put a hole there that you or I both could have run through simultaneously. A huge hole for Harrell to run through, and an excellent job by the running back.
There's the replay. D. Harrell with a little spin move there. And both of these offenses quick off the line of scrimmage. 10:24 to play.
87 yards on 8 carries in the ball game for Harrell. He's not the big man. He's not the gun. He is supposed to be the secondary running back to Dyer.
This 10 yards a pop there. That's not a bad night.
Anytime you can get that, you'd be happy.
They're going to have Vernon Boone in the backfield with Deion Dyer, and he'll run behind Boone, will Big Deion. Whenever you see number 42 in there, expect Dyer to get the ball and Vernon Boone to be the lead blocker. Deion Dyer right up the middle there to the 21, make it the 22-yard line, where they're going to have a second down and 5 now, will the Hornets. A situation where earlier in the season they may have thought about putting the ball in the air, but the rushing game working well now for the Hornets.
Biggest lead in this game has been 8 points, and that was when Dyer scored to make it 28-20, and Hampton came back to tie it up. It's been that kind of game.
Watson split to the near side, but they give it to Dyer. Dyer across the 15 before he's pushed down by Carlos Ford.
You know, and Ford, again, is one of those two-way players that Mike Smith picks the guys who can do the job. These guys play 48 minutes, and that's a tough way to play football. It's 48 minutes in high school on this level.
With a big man like Deion Dyer rushing down at you, and you've already been out there for 3 quarters, that makes it that much tougher. And they may expect to see big number 44 again with 9:05 to play. First and 10 from the 12-yard line. No, this one goes to D. Harrell. He cuts it back inside the 5 for the Hornets.
He has extreme quickness. I am just terribly impressed with this senior running back. It's amazing to me he only had 311 yards all year.
Take a look down at the sideline as the Deep Creek Hornets, anticipating a score, are warming up the backup holder. That's the backup quarterback, Chad Sorrell, who will have to do the holding. Of course, the snapper is the brother of the kicker. Steve Verdi is the snapper. Joe Verdi, of course, the kicker. They're going to go with that big set with Boone and Manning. The back man will be Deion Dyer. Vernon Boone in motion. They give it to Dyer. Looking for a couple of blockers. Great defensive surge from the Crabbers.
That was a great job, and guess who was leading that pack again?
Unbelievable. Donnie Green in there again.
Donnie Green, number 81, as he has been an outstanding defensive player tonight. He has been crucial for the Crabber defense in big plays like that, and it brings up a 3rd down and short. Of course, you're in 4-down territory with that running stable.
Big on his 3rd down. We'll call it less than a yard. The ball at the 4-yard line, so expect Deion Dyer to do the work here. He wants the ball. You can see him nod his head there. Manning in front. Dyer looking for the first down. He's going to get the first down, I would have to say, depending on the spot. And that's a pretty good spot from Najee Bailey, who got the ball and moved it back to the 5.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I think that's a great defensive play. But they will get the first down. It'll be first and goal for the Hornets at the 2-yard line with 7:31 to play in the ball game. We're tied up at 34.
If memory serves me correctly, though, Mickey, this game has been so well played. There's been just one turnover. That was the fumble at midfield that led to the touchdown scored by the Hornets.
Again, they'll go with the heavy set with Boone and Manning blocking for Dyer. Dyer goes in. Touchdown, Deion Dyer. He congratulates his blockers, and the Hornets take the 40-34 lead as Joe Verdi will trot onto the field. The big question now, the backup holder, Chad Sorrell, the 6'4" sophomore backup quarterback, has to do the holding for Joe Verdi. It's a replay of the touchdown. Big Deion Dyer gets those shoulders square. It's going to be very hard to stop him from getting 2 yards. It's a good hold. Kicks away. And good. So the Hornets will take a 41-34 lead, a 7-point lead. And the first thought I have in my mind is if the if the Crabbers score,
would they go for 2?
They're going to go for 2.
Well, as I said earlier, and so far I haven't been right, you got to score the first 6 before you can worry about that. But it's just been phenomenal as you see the Crabber mascot on the far side of the field. If he turns around, we'll get him on camera, but he wasn't showing his best side, I'll have to tell you that.
7:12 to go in the ball game.
41-34. I quit trying to keep score about 4 touchdowns ago. I ran out of sheets of paper to write it on. But it's been a pleasure. And again, I want to thank you folks here at Channel 23 for letting me be part of this tonight. This has been as good as it gets when it comes to high school football.
We're glad to have you here, Tim, but we told you you may have to sing like our usual man, Richie Babb, who's out on assignment.
If I sing, I'll never get asked back, I promise you.
Verdi to kick it away. Crawford and Hawkins are deep. And Crawford will let Hawkins take this one at the 7-yard line. Hawkins tries to make a cut. He slips, but he's still on his feet across the 25. Torrey Wilson around the ball on the stop at the 29-yard line.
The scoring drive for the Hornets, 4 minutes and 2 seconds. They took 8 plays, 65 yards. Dyer with 5 rushes in that 8-play series, including the 2-yard touchdown. And it makes it the Deep Creek Hornets 41, Hampton 34. A biscuit, TV biscuit was just served. I could go for some of that good food I saw down there in the concession stand.
That's what
Darling Stadium is known for their good Polish sausage.
Well, the Chick-fil-A's are the flavor of the month here at Western Branch.
I can see that. The crew was scarfing down at several dozen as we were preparing. I saw that.
And we have an official's whistle to stop the clock. They'll wind it back. 6:50 and counting now. The Hornets with a 7-point lead. And the Crabbers with the ball. Ricks in motion to the near side. This one goes to the first man through. The defense there for this one. I believe that's Darrell Smith on the carry.
I was teasing a while ago when I said that other series was the most important series. That was important. This is the most important series. You're looking at less than 6.5 minutes to go in regulation.
I don't know if you said this on camera or off, but Chick-fil-A's are the flavor of the month here at Western Branch.
I can see that. The crew was scarfing down at several dozen as we were preparing. I saw that.
And we have an official's whistle to stop the clock. They'll wind it back. 6:50 and counting now. The Hornets with a 7-point lead. And the Crabbers with the ball. Ricks in motion to the near side. This one goes to the first man through. The defense there for this one. I believe that's Darrell Smith on the carry.
I was teasing a while ago when I said that other series was the most important series. That was important. This is the most important series. You're looking at less than 6.5 minutes to go in regulation.
I don't know if you said this on camera or off, but you said the team that had the ball last could win the game, and that stands true right now.
It started to look like there was some prophecy to that, but Crabbers got a long ways to go. They got 68 yards between them and a tying score here.
Rainey to the near side. Hawkins to the far out of the I formation. Curry in and out of the hands of Hawkins. That one may have had a little too much juice on it.
You know, that's one of those things, you know as well as I do, you learn with time, but sometimes you got to take a little bit off of that ball to give your receiver a chance to catch the ball. That ball was a rocket like we've seen Arnie Powell throw on several occasions tonight.
And the Deep Creek fans on their feet now as we're facing a 3rd down 6. This capacity crowd here at Western Branch on their feet on the Deep Creek side, and now the Hampton fans on their feet as well. 3rd down 6, ball at the 32-yard line. The Hornets up by 7 with 6 minutes to go in the ball game. Curry, play action pass, looks around the field, he's going to run, gets the first down. Ronald Curry shows outstanding patience back there as a freshman.
I know the fans on this side of the water may be seeing Curry for the first time, but this is something he's done all year long. He has shown the good decision-making process. If the pass isn't there, or if he feels like he can get the yardage necessary, he has the acceleration and the presence of mind to go for it, and he's been very successful doing that. 58 yards on 8 carries tonight for Curry, but you can't measure the importance of the ones that he has gotten when he had to have them.
He'll have Hawkins to the far side and Rainey to the near. They'll go with split backs. Curry on the quarterback draw. Gets away from Cochran, but West may have caused him enough trouble to make him slip down there after a gain of, we'll say, 4. We'll make it 3.
And you know, we may never know how successful that play could have been if he hadn't slipped when he went back and set his feet. And that part of the field is a little bit more worn than others, as you might expect. But he did slip when he went back to set, and that was just enough time for that superb Hornet defense to respond.
Give him a good spot. We'll make it a 2nd down and 5. Curry breaks the huddle. They'll use the I formation with his receivers, Hawkins and Rainey. Tailback is Ricks. On the delay. Ricks to the far side. Got the first down across midfield to the 45. Down to the 43.
We're being set up for a finish here, Mickey, that just could be one of those types that you dream about or dream about in a nightmare form if you're the team that ends up losing. But the Crabbers with 5 minutes and some change. The clock is moving. They've got all their timeouts remaining to my knowledge. I believe Deep Creek has all of theirs.
1st and 10. Ball at the 43-yard line. Crabbers driving out of the I formation. Curry to throw. He's going to run this one. He may have another first down. Ron Curry forced out of bounds by Vernon Boone. Going to be very close to a first down depending on the spot. Curry seems to be taking matters in his own hands at this point in the game.
And this is what we've seen him do this year at Hampton. When they were trailing in the game against Tab, he took it in his own hands. He did what he had to do. When the Phantoms, Phoebus, had gone ahead in the overtime, he went for the 2-point conversion when the Hampton team could have easily taken the safe way out with the extra point and gone for another set of downs in overtime. But he went for the 2 and got it.
We'll have a 2nd down and short 3 out of the I formation. The tailback will be Ricks. Ricks will get the carry. He'll get the first down. Durant Caldwell will wrap up Chris Ricks. He's across the 35 to the 32-yard line. And all our Sports Beat 23 fans, stay tuned immediately following this Eastern Region Division 5 game for highlights of the Indian River Kempsville Division 6 championship game.
4:21. The clock is moving.
Mickey Irving and Tim Cole, along with Merlin Vaughn and Ryan Wick of Smacky Stats. But the best seat in the house for this shootout, it's 41-34. Hornets in the lead, but the Crabbers are driving. 1st and 10. Curry in trouble. Wes Cochran just will not be denied on that play. And we haven't called his name in the second half, but there he comes up big, Wes Cochran.
Huge play. Curry is so elusive, trying to get loose, and Cochran just wouldn't let him get it untracked. And of course, when you're that stationary for as long as he was, and the hitters that Deep Creek has, you have to worry about someone popping that ball loose. But fortunately for the Crabbers, that was not the case.
Big loss there. It's going to make it 2nd down and 16 now from the 39-yard line for the Crabbers.
That's the 3rd time tonight, by the way, that Curry has been sacked.
Kenny Crawford will be split to the near side of the field for the Crabbers. And Curry wants to put it up top. Across the middle, slightly underthrown. Pass intended for Najah Bailey.
That ball was, again, not dissimilar to the pass that Bailey had thrown to him early in the 3rd quarter. He was behind him and low, and that's a tough pass to catch under any circumstance. And in a game getting down to the crucial time that this has gotten to, that was a tough pass. If he'd caught that pass, he would have been doing a super job.
Now the fans on the near side of the field on their feet. The fans on the far side for the Crabbers are starting to stand as well as Curry gets the play from Coach Smith on the sideline. Will trot back in the huddle. 3:12 remaining in the ball game. 3rd down, 16 from the 39-yard line of the Hornets.
Got to be real careful.
22.
Real careful, Mickey. He's taking a lot of time to get this play in. They can't afford a 5-yard delay of game.
Out of the eye, Curry. Fakes the draw. He has plenty of time to throw. Here comes the pursuit from the Hornets. He gets away from Caldwell. Gets away from Deion Dyer. It's going to be close to a 1st down. Will be Curry. Depends on the spot. D'Amica Haskett on the stop. The spot's going to be just short of a 1st down, but they are definitely in 2-down territory here at the 23-yard line.
They're going to take an official time for measurement, but I have to agree with you. I can't see exactly, but it looks to me it's about a yard short. He's marked the ball right at the, well, I'm sorry, I kept people standing in front of me. It might not be a yard
Now it looks
short.
in between the 2 hash marks.
I was thinking that it was at the 23, but with the people in the way, it might even be close to 22. It's definitely 4-down territory, so that's not a question there.
Again, the reputation of Curry made Deion Dyer freeze in his tracks for just a second. That's how he got the extra yardage.
Well, he didn't get it. He missed it by about 6 inches.
But he'll probably get it on this play. I would doubt very seriously they put it in anybody else's hands here that short. A quarterback sneak should get it.
Yeah. But you got to remember this. I mean, you know, you talk about your big plays. Less than 3 minutes to go. Deep Creek can stuff this play. This game is over with.
It's going to be just short. They're going to spot this ball at about the 22.5-yard line with 2:56 to go. And again, the Hornets are holding on to that 7-point lead.
I didn't see who made the final tackle on that last play, but that was a huge stop. Curry put his head down, and it was a matter of wills against wills. Curry was determined to get it. The defender was determined he wouldn't. The defender won on that play.
It was the big linebacker, number 45, D'Amica Haskett, who finished that play off. He may have to do it again here. 4th and short.
This is the play of the game.
Out of the I formation. Curry. Long count. Tries to draw the Hornets. Now he'll change the play at the line of scrimmage. And the Crabbers may have jumped.
I don't think there's much question. The left side of the offensive line left about an hour early. Going to bring up a 4th down and now 5 yards and 6 inches.
The Hornets stayed home earlier in the game. Curry able to draw the Hornets
Got a dead ball, false start on the offense, still 4th down.
How important is that play as it may turn out? But, you know, this is only about the 2nd or 3rd penalty in the entire game.
And I have to think, yes, indeed, that Coach Mike Smith will take the Crabbers' first time out here of the 2nd half. 2:56 to go in the ball game. 41-34. The team in purple and white on top right now, but the Crabbers have the ball, and it's been a shootout here from Western Branch High School tonight.
The fans on both sides of the field are almost silent.
How do you?
I think they're out of energy. I think they've probably used all their energy to watch this game, and now there's like, oh my God, I've got to conserve my energy long enough now for one more play of this crucial magnitude to these teams. And I've got to say this, it's going to be a shame no matter who loses this game, because these are 2 super football teams.
Talking about the number 1 and number 3 teams in the state, the Creek Hornets coming in ranked number 3, of course Hampton coming in ranked number 1. And the thing about it, the Eastern Region football just so powerful. take a look at the replay now. See if Curry tries to make the Hornets jump. There he tried to make them jump one more time, and there's where the offensive lineman go. But Curry tried to call timeout. So obviously, when they went in the huddle, they said, we're not going to run a play. So why did those guys move is what Curry was saying. Again, he doesn't play like a freshman. He's the leader out there of that Crabber offense. He's facing a 4th and 5 with 2:56 remaining in the ball game. Curry. Option. Vernon Boone. Curry pitches it to Ricks. He gets the first down. Torrey Wilson on the stop. Curry wrapped up by Vernon Boone, but still able to make the pitch.
Again, this is something he's done all season long. Come up with the big play when you've got to have the big play. And it looked for all the world that he was going to be stopped.
How did he pitch that ball?
It was wrapped up. Your description was perfect. It appeared like the defender had both arms wrapped around him, and he flipped it to Ricks, and Ricks turned on the burners, and first down.
2:37 and counting now. First down from the 20-yard line for the Crabbers. 2 receivers to the near side and a receiver split far. Curry may run it under pressure from the Hornets. Scrambles, and he'll be thrown for a loss. D'Amica Haskett and Vernon Boone in pursuit for the Hornets.
The clock running at 2:13. Neither team has stopped it.
Second down now for the Crabbers at the 22-yard line. Deion Dyer in on defense for Coach Jerry Carter and John Dukes. Big number 44 in there right in the middle. Going out as he should with Ron Curry here in the closing moments of the ball game. Coach Jerry Carter, hands on his knees. Quick pass to Hawkins. Off the fingertips. Is it a fumble? An incomplete pass.
I don't agree with that call. That ball was a lateral. In my opinion, the official on that side to save the Hampton Crabbers a huge loss, but that ball appeared to be a lateral.
Saw Deep Creek principal Nat Hardy on the sideline. Well, he has paced back and forth tonight. He's been in the press box pacing, and everybody in the ballpark pacing. Jerry Carter doesn't look nervous, but you can believe he is on the inside.
And I'm not being critical of the officials because this game has been extremely well called. They have let the players decide the outcome of this game. But I think that pass was in fact a lateral, but a moot point at this point.
Third down, 14. They have to cross the 10-yard line for a first down. Curry, plenty of time, complete to Hawkins. Down to the 10, first down, Crabbers.
Less than a minute and a half to go.
Let's make that rainy, those 9s and 8s again.
I'm glad it's not just me. I thought it was my 48-year-old eyes that had a hard time discerning the difference.
Inside the 10-yard line now to the 8 with 1:28 to go in the ball game.
Now they've stopped the clock to advance the chains, but now it'll be restarted. Whoa, take a deep breath.
That's right. Coach Carter starting to pace the sidelines just a bit as the Crabbers will go out of the eye. Curry, the fake. Cochran in pursuit. Manning trips up Cowell. Curry still able to throw it across. Touchdown! Hampton Crabbers. Noel Rainey wide open. How in the world did Curry roll to the right and throw the ball against the grain 20 yards downfield for the touchdown?
If you'll forgive me, I'm just sitting here speechless at this point, and that happens about once every millennium. That was vintage Curry. He was stopped cold. He was dead in the water. Got away and found a man wide open in the end zone. They're going for 2. We talked about
They're
it.
going to line up and go for 2 out of the I formation with Smith and Ricks in the backfield.
Would you want it any other way?
Rainey split to the near side, Hawkins to the far. Curry calls time. Hampton uses their second timeout.
You'll notice the left side of the offensive line didn't leave prematurely
That's
that
right.
time.
How in the world did Curry throw the ball on the run. Rolling to the right, throws it back to the left. Watch the replay. Pursuit from the Hornet defense. Stops, plants, throws it across his body on the money for the touchdown to Rainey. Unbelievable.
What do you think, Mickey? Do you go for the tie and take your chances in potentially overtime?
I go for the tie, but I don't have as many plaques hanging on my wall as Mike Smith does over there. 41-40. And even Coach Smith had to say, "Oh, we need a TO, baby. Let's talk it over for just a minute." Well, now that I calmed down a bit, if I have Ron Curry, I probably do go for 2.
Well, you know, though, you put your whole season on the line with this one play, and that's a tough, gutsy call, and I'm glad I'm not the one that has to make that decision.
The Hornets buckle up. Coach John Dukes leaves the huddle. The mayor of Deep Creek, Mike Miller, can't bear to watch.
I'm telling you, you gotta love it. This is just as good as it gets. I'm sorry for those cliches, but that's all I can say at this point in time. I just enjoyed this game on this.
Curry. The option. He gets it to Ricks. A big hit. He gets in. Hampton takes the lead. A big hit from Torrey Wilson. But Ricks able to power his way into the end zone. 42-41 Crabbers. Oh, Mike Smith goes for 2.
6:09, the time of the drive. 15 plays, and Hampton is not known to be a ball control team. 71 yards. I got to put the old specs on to read all of this. Curry, 16-yard run for a first down. He finds Rainey in the end zone with an incredible TD reception. 2-point conversion. Ricks on the option. Does the kicking game decide this game? It could very well.
And
I know Smacky Stats says Verdi.
That's right, Smacky
field goal
Stats with the Verdi note, so we'll paste it right on the window. 1:03, Deep Creek with 3 timeouts remaining. They'll send Cedric Williams, he's returned 2 punts for touchdowns this year. Lawrence Claiborne and number 2, Angelo Sykes, will be standing at their own 15-yard line. Don't forget, Verdi hit a 40-yarder earlier in the season against Indian River. No wind to speak of.
But, you know, just to throw a fly in that ointment, he's got a holder that is not his regular holder.
And he's had one block tonight.
But that's, again, putting the cart way before the horse.
That's right. See if they kick it to Cedric Williams.
I think they'd like to kick it out of the end zone if they could.
Redfern to kick it away. Williams is going to field it at the 20. Cedric tiptoes to the outside. Cuts it back to the far side. Gets through somehow. Unbelievably, Cedric Williams gets to the 42-yard line with 53 seconds remaining in the ball game.
What an incredible run back. He was, you described it perfectly. He was tiptoeing along as if he were waiting for the blockers to open a huge hole, and then when it didn't happen, he cut it back the other way. What a great move for the big man.
Down to 53 seconds in the ball game. Arnie Powell hurriedly to the line of scrimmage. Verdi gets ready on the sideline. Powell looking for Waters. He's open, complete to the 45. He breaks the tackle across to the 40. 38 seconds remain. He's at the 38-yard line. The Hornets will quickly take a timeout with 36 seconds remaining in the game.
It is amazing how prophetic the team with the ball last statement might become in this situation.
Get a look at number 1, Joe Verdi on the sideline, limbering up. Deep Creek with 2 timeouts remaining.
Ball is at the Hampton 39-yard line. The biggest lead of the night was an 8-point lead that Deep Creek enjoyed in the third quarter. And after that, it's been you score, I score, you score, I score. And a block kick here, a special teams play there. It's just been too much. I I get to do the play-by-play when I'm on Channel 5. You know, I don't have to think. I just talk, and it's difficult.
It is a little easier.
I'm just sitting here just kind of not being able to say much.
Well, we hope the fans of Channel 5 and 23 are enjoying this football game, because we know we've enjoyed it up here on the booth. And the Deep Creek special teams are limbering up on the sideline. And the Hampton fans will love to see that snap was just mishandled by the backup holder, Chad Sorrell.
It only counts when they're on the field, though, so that's...
Ball at the 38-yard line. They need to get close to the 25 or 26 to really get in the range of Joe Verdi.
I won't be surprised if there's a touchdown scored.
Powell to throw. Pump fake. Going for D. Harrell. Open! Complete at the 15-yard line! D. Harrell!
Powell has impressed me. I don't know where this man stands in the region for stats, but he has thrown some perfect passes tonight.
Getting ready to wind the clock. The Hornets up at the line of scrimmage. Arnie Powell gets the play from the sideline, down to 26 seconds now. He shouts the play to the line. And Powell with a long count. Wants to throw. Pressure from Hampton and a sack.
A huge sack. Who's in there? Donnie Green and Josh Lively back to the 24-yard line. 12 seconds remaining. Timeout, Deep Creek.
Come on now, this is travel. This is what we want.
One timeout remaining, I believe.
Down to 12 seconds, 42-41. Ball spotted at the 23-yard line. Steve Verdi will snap back to Chad Sorrell, the holder, and his brother will try to work on the timing on the sideline. We believe the Hornets have one timeout remaining now with 12 seconds to go in the ballgame. Of course, you want to call that one to get the kicking unit onto the field. Crabbers go to the far side and talk over the strategy, and you wonder if the Hornets will take a shot at the end zone here or go for field position. They'll send Waters, who has a touchdown reception, to the near side, and Kendall Watson to the far. Arnie Powell quickly across the middle, incomplete. Down to 9 seconds now. It'll be third down.
I have to tell you, I'm somewhat surprised. He's been so successful passing, but when you've got a man like Dyer in your backfield, you give it the ball and maybe he gets 8-10 yards. You set up, you take your time out, and you try the field goal. They still are on the verge of being in the right range here. The ball is marked at the 24. You figure the setback at the 30. You'd be looking at as long a field goal as you've kicked all year in the game to decide it. Boy, what a tough call for the kicker if it gets down to that.
Arnie Powell under pressure, steps up in the pocket, lobs it to the end zone. D. Harrell in and out of the hand. It's ruled a touchdown. D. Harrell makes the catch. I thought the ball may have fallen out of the hands of D. Harrell. They said he had it long enough for the touchdown reception, and the Hornets are on top, and the Crabbers are sprawled out on the field in disbelief as the kicking unit trots onto the field. I didn't know if D. Harrell held on to the ball long enough, but it was ruled a completion, and the Hornets take a 47-42 lead as Coach Jerry Carter will attempt to call his last timeout. They can't get anybody's attention to call the timeout on the field. The coaching staff is on the field, jumping up and down to call a timeout, and they're not going to get it. Verdi drills the extra point to make it 48-42 after the D. Harrell touchdown reception. And Tim, I'm going to let you take us through this replay now. Let's watch this.
This is a clutch catch. Did he have it? I don't think he had it.
I think the ground
may
have caused him to drop that ball.
I just don't think he had it, but it's a moot point at this point because it doesn't matter. The official, who was much closer than we are, ruled it as a catch. It'll stand. But what a heartbreaking way for a game to end for one of these two teams. No way that you have a game decided on a play that controversial. It's unfortunate, but the official right there, he made the call. It was a gutsy call, but obviously he felt he had control of the ball. But that replay, I wouldn't mind seeing that one more time.
Maybe we can get another look at the replay of the D. Harrell catch as we see if we can signal the truck for a replay again. We're going to try to set that up. 3 seconds remaining on the clock. 48-42 lead for the Hornets. After the kick, we're going to take a look at the controversial catch, no catch by D. Harrell in the end zone.
And you know, the coaching staff and the players were just not in a position to protest it. They were obviously far enough away they couldn't tell. But that was a close call. But you know, that's what games like this are decided by.
A low kick. Crawford picks it up. He hands it.
That's your ball game.
To Hawkins, and time will expire. And two things were true. The last team that touched the ball did indeed win the game, and it's just a shame that somebody had to lose this football game.
1 minute was all it took. 5 plays, 58 yards.
Here's the replay.
Here's your replay. Did he have it or not? You know,
that's a tough call.
That's a tough call, and I'm glad I wasn't the official down there that had to make that call, because...
Let's go down to Merlin, and we'll come up back up to the booth.
Jared, what can I say? You're the most fortunate guy to coach a game like this.
Yeah, well, it's got to sink in a little bit. I don't ever give up. I knew we had a shot at it. When you got a guy like Arnie and receivers, D. Harrell, I mean, what can you say? That he laid out parallel with the ground, caught the football. I mean, I'm really glad for the fans, and I'm glad for Chesapeake, because these fans have supported us all year, and they've been real loyal, and I like it personally, obviously, but I'm just delighted for Chesapeake, for Tidewater. It's wonderful to be going to a state playoff and representing Tidewater, Chesapeake, and obviously Deep Creek High School.
All right, now, during the last touchdown, during the extra point, you were trying to call a timeout. What were you trying to do?
Well, the extra point didn't mean anything. What we wanted was we wanted to go for 2, because you know, the 5-point lead didn't mean anything, and we were trying to get a timeout where we could go for 2, but we couldn't work it out. You know? They didn't. They were so excited. I don't know. Maybe we got to teach them what that means. I don't know. We'll have a lesson on that Monday, what that means.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, Jared. All right, we're going to go back upstairs, but we're going to go and grab some of the victorious Deep Creek Hornets. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Tim started that scoring drive. It lasted a minute, covered 5 plays and 58 yards. Waters had the 19-yard reception. Harrell had 2 23-yard receptions, including the touchdowns. And congratulations to the Deep Creek Hornets on their first region championship as they defeat a very good and undefeated Hampton team. Hampton now 11-1. Look at the final statistics. Deep Creek 48, Hampton 42. 16 first downs for the Hornets to 24 for the Crabbers. 235 yards rushing for the Hornets, 245 for the Crabbers. 218 yards for Ronald Curry in the air, 183 for Arnie Powell. 418 yards total offense for Deep Creek, 463 for the Crabbers. And how about this? Only 3 penalties all night. 2 against the Crabbers, 1 against the Hornets. The Smacky Stats guys who never leave room for dessert. Harrell, 96 yards. Dyer, 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ricks, 120 yards for the Crabbers. What a great, great football game out here tonight.
It really was. And, you know, first of all, it's always difficult to say, well, you know, you've got a lot to look forward to, and this isn't the end of the season or end of the career for these guys, because Hampton is a very young team, and they'll be back. But you know they've got to be terribly disappointed right now. But this game was as good as a football game on any level can be. Both teams played superbly. The coaching, you could see the chess matches occurring. The special teams got involved. The quarterbacks shone like quarterbacks should. The running game was there. Everything was there. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. And give Deep Creek all the credit in the world. They could have given it up and folded the tent after Curry brought Hampton down the field and went for 2 and got it. But they didn't. They came back and they drove the length of the field in 1 minute and won the game. And by golly, that's what championship teams are made of.
Unbelievable. And people are going to read the newspaper and say, where was the defense? There was plenty of defense in a 48-42 game, if that can be said. Big hits by both teams defensively. Big defensive plays all around. The one that comes to mind, Curry runs for the first down, and D'Amica Haskett with the big hit. That ends up really to be one of the plays of the game because they have a penalty on the following player and unable to get a first down. But just outstanding offense and defense. And don't forget to stay tuned here to Sports Beat 23. Coming up immediately after this game, highlights of the Indian River Kempsville Division 6 final. Let's go down to Merlin Vaughn.
I'm here with the winning pass combination, D. Harrell, Arnie, first of all, man, you were right on the target tonight.
On the last play, I knew that D could catch, but I guess my coach thought I was going to go to Jason, but I went to D.
All right. Now, you know, a lot of things people don't know about you. I mean, you're a good runner. I mean, you showed your running abilities tonight.
I guess, I mean, like I said last week, people don't think I can run, but I showed them I could.
All right. Oh, well, they're interviewing D. Let's keep talking about this. What do you think? Has it sunk in yet that you are the Eastern Regional champions at Division 5 level?
I'm happy. I'm real happy. I love it. I love winning.
All right. We're going to step over here to D. Harrell. All right, D.
We're going all the way to the state. We're going all the way to the state. We take this to Ricky top one.
All right, D. All right, D. You stretched out. You stretched out. You were doing it all night.
Yes, sir. I just tried to do what I had to do to help the team win so we could go to the mountains next week.
What was going through your head at 103 after they had just scored?
I wasn't really nothing going through my head. I had a feeling that we'll get the ball down the field because we were passing on them all night. I just had confidence in the team.
Have you ever had a moment like this, catching a winning touchdown?
No, sir. No, sir. Never did in my life.
All right. Well, congratulations. D'Amica, Carey was very hard and elusive tonight to catch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He a decent player. Well, he above decent. He a freshman. He got a couple of years. And we're just going to keep it here. We taking it to the state, baby.
So, what were you guys trying to do? Were you trying to contain him? He ran a lot of options tonight.
We weren't really trying to contain him. We was just, try to get an easy shot on, you know what I'm saying? That was basically it, though.
All right. Congratulations again. Back upstairs.
Thanks, Merlin. The man with 2 touchdowns down there, number 4, D. Harrell. And congratulations to the Indian River Braves as they win the Division 6 championship. Let's go to the Indian River Kempsville Chiefs highlights. The Indian River Braves look to repeat as Eastern Region Division 6 champions against the Kempsville Chiefs, but the Chiefs took an early lead with a field goal from last week's hero, Nicole Fry. The Braves answered back with a James Boyd to Anthony Kaysen touchdown pass to give the Braves lead 6-3 when the extra point attempt failed. After the Chiefs regained the lead at 10-6, the Braves returned the favor with a Boyd TD run. The 2-point conversion failed to make the score 12-10 Indian River. Boyd throws deep to Kaysen for another touchdown this time. The 2-point conversion is successful, and the Braves go up 20-10. But the Chiefs fight back with a Fred Sanders to Marcus Garrett completion to make it 20-17. For the second week in a row, Anthony Kaysen seals the victory with an interception. The final score, Indian River 20, Kempsville 17. The Braves repeat as Eastern Region champions and host the state semifinal next Saturday. Let's go back down on the field now to Merlin Vaughn.
I'm here with Joe Verdi, Deep Creek kicker. Joe, you had a good night tonight. You hooked one, but you came back and redeemed yourself.
Yeah, well, we had a little trouble with Daryl. Daryl got a concussion, so we had to bring Chadrick in. He did a hell of a job. Yeah, on TV, can you? Well, Chadrick, I thank him for coming up, stepping up. All right?
Who number one in the state now?
Now, Joe, your brother also plays on the defensive line and offensive line. You're a center, right?
Yes, sir. I just try to do the best I can with my snaps so he can make his points. And then when he kicks him, I stick him. We're number one.
There you go. Deep Creek, now back upstairs.
Thanks, Merlin. I'm speechless.
It's been exhausting. If these young men aren't exhausted, I am. And it's been a game. It was an ebb and flow. The momentum switched back and forth. It was a terrific ball game, and I want to make a personal observation here. I want to congratulate the Hampton Crabbers with a great game. In spite of the loss, they can hold their heads high, and they will be back. This is a young team. Curry is just a freshman. Hawkins is a sophomore. You got a lot of underclassmen. They'll be back, as will this Deep Creek team. I'm incredibly impressed with this Arnie Powell, the quarterback. He threw some rockets tonight. His receivers, led by D. Harrell and so forth, they just did a great job. This was a super game. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and tonight it was Hampton's loss and Deep Creek win, and our congratulations to Deep Creek, and hope they go all the way and win the final.
Congratulations to the Eastern Region champion Deep Creek Hornets, and maybe these two teams will hook up again next year with a lot of underclassmen on both teams. Hopefully we'll see them both again in the Eastern Region finals. Thanks to Tim Cole for joining us tonight here on Sports Beat 23. Don't forget to watch every Saturday at 12, Mondays at 4, and Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Our final score, Deep Creek 48, Hampton 42.